Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. College football's early national signing period begins today and runs through Friday. Ohio State's received about 15 signed letters of intent from their 28 commits in the class of 2026. 24/7 Sports has the Buckeyes ranked 5th in the country. Ohio State's waiting for signatures from 5-star wide receiver Chris Henry Jr. and 4-star receiver Caden Dixon Wyatt, both players from Mater Dei in California, will hold a press conference, hopefully putting pen to paper in the 10 o'clock hour. On the field, Ohio State will play Indiana Saturday night at 8 o'clock for the Big Ten Championship. Buckeyes are 4.5-point favorites. Hear from OSU's head coach tomorrow at noon on the Ryan Day radio show. OSU and IU maintain their top spots in the college football playoff rankings released last night, and the Blue Jackets are back on home ice tomorrow night taking on the Detroit Red Wings. You can hear CBJ Hockey Thursday on The Fan on your home for the Blue Jackets. 97.1 The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
Talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy, Austin Ward. My good buddy, Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Tom Barry here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only 2 guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
All right, let's do it live on a First Friday Miracle edition of the program. Bo, the boys with you for the next 3. Loaded up here, 9:20. We are going to meet the Indiana Hoosiers. Ryan Day on the Hoosiers coming up at 9:30. What now at Penn State? Good grief. This thing could get real wild cardy in a hurry now after the events of last night. Remember, they fired Franklin first, so they could theoretically get at the front of the line of this thing. Obviously did not work. 10 o'clock, we'll play a little higher, lower. Jake Trotter coming by at 10:30. 11 o'clock, a little bit of, hey, guys, your chance to win that $50 gift card to our great friends at High Bank. By the way, something big, huge even, you might say, coming from High Bank early next week. You're going to want to be paying attention to. And at 11:30, a quarter poll reacts with Aaron Portzline on the Blue Jackets. Where are they? Where are they going? What's working? What isn't? I did want to start with the this incredible couple of lines from the great Vizzini in what I would say is a cinematic masterpiece, The Princess Bride. But it's so simple. All I have to do is divine from what I know of you. Are you the sort of man who would put the poison in his own goblet or his enemies'? Now, a clever man would put the poison into his own goblet because he would know that only a great fool would reach for what he was given. I'm not a great fool, so I can clearly not choose the wine in front of you. But you must have known that I was not a great fool. You would have counted on it, so I can clearly not choose the wine in front of me. And that is the College Football Playoff Selection Committee. They're buffoons. They're talking in circles. The idea, and this was the thing that was most maddening, and so many of the national media parroted this. I don't know if you guys picked up on this last night. So many parroted it. This idea that somehow, if there is arbitrarily a team between Miami and Notre Dame, they can't be compared. But if by some magic hook or crook, a team is eliminated, and all of a sudden you can compare Notre Dame to Miami because all of a sudden now they're right next to each other in the poll. Now we can compare the two of them. And then I saw national people running with it. Oh, if BYU loses, then they can finally compare Miami and Notre Dame. They made the poll, dummies. They can put Miami wherever they want. They can put Notre Dame wherever they want. If they want to use head-to-head, they can. They can pick whatever 12 teams they want. The only thing they're bound by is they have to have 5 conference champions, which you could argue the absurdity of that with what's going on in the ACC. This is utter nonsense. Nonsense. It's perfect because of what we do. It's perfect. And it allowed me to quote the Princess Bride on a First Friday. So that's a win for everybody. But my God, this was just utter nonsense. The notion that it's just accepted that Alabama that Alabama will not fall out with a loss. Like, known. No matter what happens, they're in. Okay, that's a pretty big deal, right? If no matter what happens, they're in. And they didn't say that directly, but that was certainly the feeling you got. Meantime, BYU, if they lose, they're out. This all happened last night. I don't even know what to look for because it just doesn't make any damn sense. It feels like they're banking on a lot of get out of jail free cards to cover for them. That's kind of my feeling.
Come on, Duke. Come on, Duke.
But by the way, if Duke wins, I think the ACC's out.
Yeah.
Right?
And that could be for everybody's benefit.
Yeah.
This was my scenario with that, though. Will they throw Miami in that scenario? Would they have Miami jump Notre Dame in that scenario to give the ACC a bone?
Well, it feels like the only way that they can do that, if you listen to the guy last night, is if BYU loses to Texas Tech.
Yeah, I think Miami's out.
Isn't that hilarious? I mean, did you guys pick up on that? That right now they can't compare Notre Dame and Miami because they are not right next to each other in a poll that they create. All they have to do is put Miami 11, and then you can compare the two.
The last 2 weeks, they had that gold bracket around Miami saying must-win conference title game. And it's like, guys, there's no conceivable path for Miami to play in the conference championship game. So you're not doing it. You're not doing like a serious thing here by giving them this explainer.
No,
because it's almost impossible.
It also seems like their love affair with Utah is over. There for a while, they really loved Utah. Now Utah all these teams have jumped Utah. Miami's over them. Texas is over them. Vanderbilt's over them. So it seems like Utah's shot at getting in this is dead now.
It's amazing, too, for sure. And I think what they did with with Texas A&M, dropping them behind Ole Miss. Like, nothing's going to happen this weekend that's going to get A&M ahead of Ole Miss. By the way, Oregon is in the catbird seat here. They're where the Buckeyes were last year, sitting there in the 5 slot. Or not where the Buckeyes were last year. They're sitting there in the 5 slot, and you're going to get to play a group of 5 in Eugene, and then you're going to get to play the 4, which to me feels like will be Indiana in a bowl game, is kind of how I think that'll shake out. That's a pretty good spot for Oregon. Ole Miss locked into the 6. There's no scenario where they're going to fall out of it. I think the most noteworthy thing that happened last night, and we'll get to some of the specifics of this in higher lower, was Texas jumping Vanderbilt. So Vanderbilt's cooked. There's no scenario where they get in, and Texas would need utter chaos to get in, but Texas going ahead of Vanderbilt kind of locks them out. So they took the head-to-head there. I mean, that's a head-to-head result. They have Alabama behind Oklahoma because of the head-to-head. Oklahoma beat Alabama, so they have them behind them. So it does feel like they're kind of stuck in those places, and this is all just going to come down to a beauty contest between Notre Dame and Miami, of which neither team is playing this weekend. They were asked directly, could a team move up even if they're not playing? Yeah. Sure. Do whatever we want. You know why? Because Boise State's playing this weekend, boys. And Notre Dame played Boise State. So if Boise State somehow wins their conference championship game, well, then that'll make Notre Dame look better. Never mind the fact, and listen, I married a Catholic. My boys are Catholic. I love Marcus. I root for Notre Dame all the time, except for when they play Ohio State. But the two teams played. They played. And it was week 1, but there's no significant injuries for either team. This isn't a Florida State situation where the quarterback's gone. It's none of that. The two teams played. It has to matter. It matters in the rest of their poll.
It's whose line is it anyway? The football edition, and the committee's Drew Carey.
Yeah.
And he can just kind of and they can do whatever they want. And then the next time they're out there, they'll just say something that fits them right in that moment. While you'll have the entirety of college football being like, no, what you said last week was different. It's like, so? That was last week. You can't hold me to what I said last week. How dare you?
And it's not even their own fault. I'm sure
this was how it was designed by ESPN.
Yes.
And I also thought, like, what the committee did was less embrace debate than what ESPN would want them to do, having those 2 spots in the bracket. They're just like, conference champ. And it's like, put someone there, you cowards.
Right. They don't want to do a television show.
I want to see Mark D'Antonio brought out on camera to explain himself.
Yeah. They don't want to do a television show. They just want the money of the television show. This This is one of those things, and Bo, as I hear you talking, you're like, well, if Alabama loses, it seems like they're in, and if BYU loses, they're definitely out. Well, they should be out. Like, to me, some of these games should be used as your play-in games, right? Some of these games should be used as your playoffs, and if BYU loses twice to Texas Tech, well, what makes you think they're going to beat them a third time if they have to play them again? Like, whether they're one of the 12 best or not, they're out, and that's okay. And I think the Alabama thing, and I talked about this last week, it's going to be so interesting if they lose because they will have a head-to-head win over Georgia and a head-to-head loss over Georgia. And I don't think a 3-loss team should be in there, but they're going to use that as, well, these two played twice. They're pretty even. If this team's in, the other one should be in. I think a 3-loss Alabama is going to be a very interesting thing for the committee. And then also, if Alabama beats Georgia, I'm guessing they will hop over Oklahoma, even though Oklahoma beat them head-to-head.
Yeah. You know why? Because they only have a 16-team league. And so everybody has to play each other a lot more often. We don't have that. We had 18. We do whatever we want. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. And I see the Bama side of it too. Why are we having to play a 13th game and you're going to hold it against us? I guarantee you that nobody at Georgia or Alabama wants to play that game. They do not want to play that game.
That's the real truth.
That is. And I'm guessing, and I know that Ohio State hasn't won one in a while, but if you get the real truth from Ryan Day and you got the real truth from Kurt Cignetti, now it might be different at Indiana, and it's probably a little different here just because we haven't won it in a while. But, like, really, who cares? Really, who cares? Like, wouldn't you rather just not play again and just have your bye and we'll see on down the road? Why would you want to play another high-leveraged game? Now, the good news for Ohio State and Indiana is they're both going to get byes, so neither one's playing December 20th. So that saves it a little bit. But the SEC loser is playing December 19th or 20th. That's happening.
And, oh, yeah, by the way, Ryan Day, Kurt Cignetti, go sign your class for your future here today while you're getting ready for this Big Ten championship game.
Now I feel like you're trying to provoke a fight.
Make sure you get your recruit signed.
And now you're putting raw meat in front of me like this, like the calendar.
I mean,
jeez.
Wind him up.
Maybe.
Right.
I don't know. You want me to talk about Baker and Cleveland, too?
Yeah.
What else can we do? All right.
Maybe the Carolina Panthers?
Yeah. More.
Coming up. Jeez. I'm going to definitely pay him in pennies, Reese. I'm definitely doing that. All right. Coming up next, Indiana is on the docket. The Big Ten championship game is at stake. Kurt Cignetti's path to this point is a pretty remarkable one. We will get to that, and, of course, we'll keep you updated on National Signing Day as well. We're off and running on a First Friday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State athletics, The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Getting the cold shoulder? Call Care Heating and Cooling and we'll fix your furnace fast. Call 1-800-COOLING.
Great Lakes Hyundai, the savings are so good. You know the savings are so good. You know the savings are so good. Great cars, great deals, Great Lakes. GLakesHyundai.com.
Instant classics are exciting, but true legends have impact over time, like how Plant Moran has been counted on by companies and clients for the past 100 years. Counted on for advice by the workwear brand You Zip Up Every Day, counted on for guidance by the zoos and aquariums inspiring the next generation, counted on for a holistic approach to those growing, protecting, and sharing their wealth. From accounting to tax to consulting to wealth management, we're built year after year on the stories and success we help others achieve. Here's to the next 100 years of Plant Moran. Count on us.
Hey, it's Austin Ward. You know when you grow a beard or cut your hair and the mirror surprises each day, then it fades? Well, here's what doesn't fade. Seeing this thinner version of me staring back every single morning. 2 years after dropping 50 pounds with Awaken 180, I'm still doing a double take. And let me tell you, it feels awesome. Awaken 180 didn't just change my weight, it changed how I see myself, literally. I dropped my 50 pounds during the holidays. It's the best time to start, in my opinion. What's stopping you? Awaken180weightloss.com.
Timmy Hall here, proud to be back for my 4th year supporting Nationwide Children's Hospital and Light Up the Lawn, Light Up a Life. The holidays can be tough for kids and families spending it in the hospital. So now through December 31st, more than 100 giant illuminated butterflies will shine on the hospital lawn, each one sparkling to life with every single donation. When patients see those butterflies glow, they'll know their community's thinking of them, sending waves of hope and joy. So let's do this together. Let's light up the lawn and light up a life. Donate now at nationwidechildrens.org/give.
What's the best way to make sure you don't miss any of your favorite fan shows? Oh no. Download the Fan app, silly.
Ah, damn it, I knew that.
App Store, Google Play, or just scream right at your phone. Psst, you can also listen to Buckeye games. Do it now.
You can stream the game on your phone while you're gardening. You can stream it while you walk the dog. You can stream it at a trampoline park. You can even stream it at a monster truck rally. But the second you get behind the wheel, the game's over. Remember, Ohio, phones down. It's the law.
At the Ohio Lottery, we make Keno fun, your way. That means every few minutes across Ohio, 20 out of 80 possible numbers are randomly picked. And if some of the numbers you picked match, voila, you're a winner. Keno doesn't require you to know a single thing about sportsbasketball or overs, unders, pluses, minuses, or lines, or whatever else. Keno is as simple as, did some of my numbers match? They did? Great. You just raked in some dough. There are more than 20 hours of Keno draws every day and thousands of places to play statewide. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Hey, Central Ohio, I'm 10 Weather Impact Meteorologist Michael Behrens with your latest forecast. We're looking at quiet weather today, but cold. We'll see temperatures this afternoon into the low 30s, but some sunshine will come through. A little bit of light snow early Thursday, but then we drop to single digits by early Friday. That's your latest 10 Weather Impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
An encyclopedic knowledge of sports and other random things you may or may not care about.
I think I found my mentor.
Rockman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. The perfect show for quarter zips and khaki shorts. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
The last time Indiana won a Big Ten championship was 1967. That was the year my dad graduated high school. 1967. That was the last time they won it. They won it in 45. They won it in 67. What Curt Cignetti has done at Indiana, there's not even there's nothing really like it in sport. There's nothing in this sport certainly that I can think of a one-man culture tornado. Now, they were building towards this a little bit through the years. They'd gotten more and more competitive. They had the Penix years, and they before he went to Washington, and they had little bits of success here and there, and they would be frisky from time to time. This isn't that. This isn't frisky. And honestly, if Curt Cignetti would have been hired at Michigan State instead of Indiana, I don't think we'd be having to do what we're having to do all the time with Indiana, because there's an accepted understanding of the Spartan brand from the D'Antonio era. They've been in the college football playoff. It would be much easier for people to wrap their head around. If he had done this at Nebraska or Wisconsin or a host of other ones, this is virtually one of 4 or 5 program brands in the Big Ten that I still think it's hard for people to wrap their head around, that, yes, Indiana is good. But it all starts with him. His path is pretty crazy. He was an assistant for 27 years, starting in 1983. He's assistant head coach. He played at West Virginia. He's a Pittsburgh native. He's an assistant coach in college football at various stops, finally ending up at Alabama in 2010, which is probably how he finally became a head coach. But he's an assistant from 1983 to 2010, never getting a head job. 27 years as an assistant head coach. Then he goes to D2 Indiana University of Pennsylvania, goes 53-17 there. That's Division II football. Division II football. And he's there for a while. Then he goes to Elon for a couple of years and has a modicum of success in the FBS. And then 5 years at James Madison, where he went 52-9, and now he's been here. He played for the FBS or the 1AA National Championship his first year at James Madison. since being at Indiana, he's 23-2. His 2 losses are to Ohio State and Notre Dame, the 2 teams that played in the national championship game a year ago, and 2 teams that are among, certainly Ohio State, the favorite to win it again. And I think Notre Dame, if they get in, would certainly be among the teams not named Ohio State that would get a lot of action. It's stupefying. He brought his guys with him in some instances, but they also won recruiting battles. Fernando Mendoza was a sought-after player in the portal coming out of Cal, and he signed here. He signed at Indiana, and it's allowed for this remarkable, unprecedented, really, rise to power. Are they on a talent-for-talent level like Texas? No, probably not in terms of just surefire NFL guys, but they're the next. They're the next. And what they have is they have veteran guys who have been there a while, who know the system, and they have a coach who has just instilled a fearlessness in them. They survived, obviously, the game in State College against Penn State, which was a little bit of a Penn State Super Bowl game. And there was a little bit of that. And we dealt with that, too, around here. But this is – there's not a whole lot of examples of this in college football history. And I just – as much as, like, some of the stuff is off-putting for me, I get all of it. And – you have to just look back in awe of what has been accomplished in 2 years at a place that has no precedent for this type of success.
And his players, that program, have actual confidence in their abilities.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't like some Michigan man who's just overinflated sense of confidence is because there's a deep insecurity. And we'll get to a lot of the insecurities of the Michigan man later in this show. But it's legitimate from him to his players. Like Fernando Mendoza, when he talks, he's a Boy Scout. Yeah. Like, I get why a lot of NFL teams are higher and higher on Mendoza the more you see him play and the more you see him act like a true kind of franchise player.
Yeah.
This is a team that will not be, I think, they won't have the lights are too bright Saturday at the Hoosier Dome. I think this is a team that has been through, like you said, Ohio State last year, Notre Dame in the Indiana State Championship in the college football playoff. And then this year, games won at Oregon, games won at Happy Valley, that program's never done before. But it doesn't seem at any instance too big for them. I think that gives them great confidence, actual confidence, because there's the difference going into Saturday.
There is. There's complete belief. So the closest they got to being an upset sprung on them was at Iowa. And Iowa's a really good team this year. We had Scott Docterman on yesterday who went over how they have 3 losses by like a total of 4 losses by like a total of 18 points or something like that. Like every game they lost was close, including that one. Their win at Oregon is as impressive as any win on the calendar. Going to Oregon and winning, I put it up against anybody because I do think Oregon at that time was still relatively healthy at receiver. And they went out there and won, and they kind of played bully ball. It ends up being 30-20, but it never felt like Indiana was going to lose that game to me in watching it. There's nothing else that's really close. The Penn State game, as I mentioned, they win 27-24. Other than that, they handle their business, oftentimes in dominant fashion. He buries people. Their most impressive win, and Illinois had injuries, was 63-10 over the Illini. No, I don't think that this is going to be what it was a year ago here. I don't think that. I think that the quarterback play, with all due respect to your boy Rourke, Reese, I think that the quarterback play is better this year.
Yeah.
And this is a guy who's probably going to be, very well may be the first quarterback off the board in the NFL draft, and I think that's a big part of it. Self-belief's going to be a part of it. It's probably the biggest game in Indiana football history. Saturday in Indianapolis. I can't imagine they've played at one bigger than this for actual hardware. First time since 1967. Standing in your way as the defending national champions who haven't lost since in a year. You can't tell me that there's a bigger game that they've ever played. And I think if we didn't have a 12-team playoff, this one would even have more to it. I mean, if this was the old 4-team days, imagine how this would look. What do you do with these 2 teams if this was the 4-team playoff?
Yeah, it's almost like loser would maybe go home.
Probably.
And I kind of hate that, right? We've talked about this Big Ten championship game, and it probably should go away. But this used to mean a lot. And this game means absolutely nothing, really. The only thing that's on the line is the number 1 seed. Now, for Indiana, well, and Ohio State a little, because it's been 2020
Yeah,
since they've won a Big Ten championship.
Both teams mean a lot.
But Indiana, they've never done this, so that's really big for them. But in the grand scheme of this, where everybody wants to go, this means nothing on Saturday, and that kind of bums me out.
Yeah, I mean, this was a league that didn't have a conference champion for the longest time, where, like, you know, the team that got to the Rose Bowl in like the 70s, of course 73 when they vote Ohio State to the Rose Bowl over Michigan. There was a time in the 90s when Northwestern got to play in the Rose Bowl over Ohio State because it had been longer for Northwestern to go to the Rose Bowl than them. Like Tyvus, I was on with those guys this morning, and I don't know if Tyvus even realized this because he's such a young buck. But the idea that this conference had championship ties. Forever. For 100 years, they had conference championship ties. And then they got wise and said, hey, we can make money off of this thing. Let's stage a conference championship game, and away we go. I think the first one was 2011 was the first one. And I want to say it was like Wisconsin and Nebraska or something like that. I mean, it was not what you were hopeful of. I'll tell you that. When you built this thing, you were thinking you were going to get Ohio State and Michigan certainly always in it, and probably hoping Penn State would be involved a lot too, but it wasn't. And so, yeah, you have this thing. I do think there are real stakes in this sense. The winner here is the 1 seed. Okay. Now, there's value in being the 1 seed, although I don't know what's the real difference, too much of a difference between 5 and 8 or 9. I think they're all going to be really good teams. But this is the part where you lose some of the stakes. I do think both of these teams are not going to play until New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. It's almost impossible for me to, unless Indiana were to just get bombed. Like Ohio State's not getting bombed, but if Indiana gets bombed, maybe then they would drop below. But you can't put them below Oregon because they beat them. So with Oregon at 5, to me, it almost feels like whatever happens to Indiana, they're going to sit there in the 4 spot if they lose this game. And so for both of them, there's time to heal on this. It's not like the SEC title game where the loser there is got to play in 2 weeks. Like, that's happening. In this one, I feel like both these teams are going to be playing New Year's Eve, New Year's Day in bowl games. They're not going to be playing playoff games either way. So that takes some of it out of it. But I think as much as some of the stuff he does annoys me, as much as I loved Will Howard last year putting the cigarette out and all of that, as much as I loved all of that stuff, you have got to have full-blown respect for that dude. 27 years as an assistant coach, to go from Indiana University of Pennsylvania to Elon to James Madison to Indiana, and to start 23-2 and your only losses are to Ohio State and Notre Dame, respect. That's getting it done. You're going to hear from Kurt Signetti. You're going to hear from Ryan Day. You're going to hear from him in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Feeling stuck on your own 10-yard line in the career game? Maybe it's time to just go for IT. My Computer Career has the game plan to score a rewarding new IT career in months. Whether you're a rookie, a breakout career changer, or a military veteran ready to serve. Why spend years chasing a college degree when you can fast-track your future in IT starting now? Take your mark, get set, go for IT. Take the free career evaluation at mycomputercareer.edu today. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 1-877-CARS for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now.
1-877-CARS for Kids. Donate your car today.
Hurry! It's our last chance to donate for 2025. Get Eco.
ECO.
Every kid deserves new toys at Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Get Eco.
ECO.
Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians donate thousands of dollars to Toys for Tots each year. And this year will be our biggest donation ever.
Are you willing to buy a new toy for a little kid this Christmas?
Every Eco location in Ohio is officially a Toys for Tots drop-off location.
And every Eco plumber, electrician, and HVAC technician will be delighted to transport any new unwrapped toys that you would like to donate to Toys for Tots.
Buy a toy for a kid this Christmas?
Or a bunch of new toys.
And give them to any Eco technician you happen to see.
To drop off a new unwrapped toy at the Eco location nearest you, just go to geteco.com for our street address.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Generous plumbers, Merry Christmas electricians, and buy a kid a new toy this year, HVAC technicians.
Geteco.com.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
Buckeyes and Hoosiers Saturday night in Indianapolis. A chance for both of these teams to do something that they haven't done for a while in terms of how both franchises or programs define a while. For Ohio State, having not won a Big Ten championship in 2020, that's a while. For Indiana, it's 1967. That's a while. At stake, the 1 seed. For the loser, I still think they're a top 4. I still think neither one of these teams are going to play again until New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. I think for the Buckeyes, my hunch would be that they would be back in the Rose Bowl as the number 1 seed. Obviously, the Rose Bowl would love to have them, and I think that that would make a lot of sense, provided they get that 1 seed. But also, there's some hardware. Big Ten championship hasn't been officially had over here since 2020, and so there's some excitement with that. Here is Ryan Day on that excitement.
I know our guys are looking forward to it, going to Indy. It's been a long time since we've been in Indy, too long. And so, we're going to win the game and a great opponent. So we got to have a great week of preparation, great focus, and we got to go put it on the field Saturday night.
The opponent, as we just talked about, is Indiana and Curt Cignetti, which has done something that I can't really think of any precedent for in college football, certainly. Here is Ryan Day on Indiana and Cignetti.
The first thing that jumps out to me is how hard they play, how well they're coached. They play fast. They're explosive team, and just watching them on film, they're run through everybody. I mean, they're just the scores and the way that they play. They're very efficient, and really have done a great job. To your point, I think. They're, in Coach Cignetti's ability to, get this thing turned around and look at his record the last 2 years since he's been there. And a lot of people make comments about, what he said about Google him, but yeah, Google him. Look at what he's done. I got a lot of respect for what he's put on the field and what he's done.
It's a really diversified approach at Indiana. When you just pull up their team statistics on the year and Mendoza at the top of it, completing 72% of his passes, 2,800 yards, 32 touchdowns, 5 picks. Less completion percentage than Julian, less yards than Julian, but perhaps you could argue maybe has to do a little bit more than Sayin has to do, just because maybe they don't have quite the NFL level of receiver. But they've got a ton of talent, and it's really diversified, guys. They got 2 backs over 700 yards. Hemby's got 866. Black's got 729. They've combined for 13 touchdowns. Receiving, it's kind of the same. They got 2 guys over 600. Surratt's got 650 with 11 touchdowns. Omar Cooper's got 804 with 11 touchdowns. They are a complete team in every way. And Ryan talked about them going right at you and the way that they play offensive football. Cignetti was available on Monday and weighed in on his offensive philosophy.
It's all about balance. You got to be able to run it and throw it. In particular, the passing game, we're RPO based. And then from there, you're into your quick game and your play action, your drop back game. And I mean, you got 52 yards of field and you got to use all 52 plus of them. So, at the end of the day, defenses all have tendencies and schematics, things they do. And so you've got to have concepts, obviously, that attack everything. But more importantly, we've had great quarterback success. All of our quarterbacks really since 19 have been player of the year in the league on offense, except last year Rourke was second team all-conference to the Heisman Trophy winner, led the country in QBR. So it's all about the quarterback and what he can do. They've all been different. We've had dual guys, pocket guys, et cetera. And you build around him and your offensive personnel, and you try to play to your strengths, and then you got a certain way, that you coach and things you believe in, and you preach certain things and you want to play a certain way, and those guys take it to heart, and then you see the end result on the field.
Did he give Dylan Gabriel the Heisman?
I just was going to say, he talks so confidently that as he said he finished second to the Heisman Trophy winner. I'm like, wait a second, I vote for that. I don't know a quarterback in the Big Ten who won the Heisman. Oh, yeah. Trav won the Heisman.
Well, no, it's Brad, according to Cignetti.
I guess Dylan Gabriel won it. Yeah. Did Dylan finish second?
I'd have to I don't think so.
Was it Travis and then Dylan last year? Dylan
won the silver Dylan won the silver football, so he's a Big Ten player.
Dylan was second. I think he was second because they were undefeated and he was the quarterback of record. I would be shocked if they weren't.
Ashton Genty was second. Gabriel was third.
Okay, isn't that funny? It's also interesting how it does feel like, certainly in this part, I think the Heisman race is going to be very fascinating. I'll be very fascinated if the entire South goes Diego Pavia, because at that point, you'd almost need everybody else to go to the winner of this from a quarterback thing. Nobody out there statistically blows you away. There's no Joe Burrow stat line. There's no Jane Daniels stat line. There's none of those things that you're looking at. There's not a Genty. There's not anything like that. And I think some of that is the approach that a lot of these teams have taken to this season, especially the great ones, where they're playing the long game. And I'm kind of mixed on it. I heard Doug Maurice talking about this, and certainly anytime he talks, I pay attention to it, but talking about maybe moving the Heisman to the end of the season after the playoff. I think the only thing that would happen, the only thing that it would become then is it would become best player on the national champion wins the Heisman every year. It would be so hard for anybody other than, like last year, does that mean that Jeremiah Smith wins the Heisman? Travis Hunter doesn't, because he's gone. He didn't play for 2 months. He's not going to win it. I don't think Dylan Gabriel's going to win it. Genty was bounced quick. Certainly Cam Scadaboo would have had more juice than he had in the original Heisman. I think if they ever just get the calendar fixed, I think it would solve a lot of things and make it make a little bit more sense. But it does feel like whoever plays best, and I still think Jeremiah's in this thing. I know statistically, but neither of these quarterbacks, they're not statistically lapping the field either. There's no 4,200-yard passer with 40 touchdowns. That didn't happen this year. Everybody kind of slow played this season. Ryan Day was actually asked about the Heisman and his view of if this game will decide the Heisman. Here's Coach Day.
It's a great award that's been around for a long time. I think there's probably an argument to be made somewhere along the line that, maybe they should wait to see how the whole season plays out before they decide. But that's not the way the tradition goes, and that's not what they do. So, they'll go through that process. And, I think the award should go to the best college football player in the country, not necessarily somebody who has the most stats. And that takes a skillful eye to be able to identify that. I've been very fortunate. I went when I was young, when Ron Dane won it, and got a chance to the Downtown Athletic Club to go and experience what that was like. Drew Brees, I think, was one of the finalists at the time. And even as a young person, it was just such a great experience for me to meet people like Steve Spurrier and some of the former Hopalong Cassidy and some of the former guys who were there at the time. And I remember walking around with a football and having all these football greats sign the football. And I went home and I had it in my room for such a long time. And now, for me to go with some of our players is it's an honor. It's a great award. It has a great tradition, and so fortunate to have some of our guys in the mix again this year.
All it says on the ballot is most outstanding player. That's it. So when you look at it, the thing he hit on there is, and I do think the Heisman's gotten a lot better with that. I think Travis Hunter is a great example of that last year. I think Manti Te'o finishing second a little more than a decade ago. We've had Devonta Smith. We've had receivers win it. There was a while there in the early 2000s where it was just quarterback on the best team. There's probably a 15-year run where that was the case, where you had Gino Torretta and Jason White and Eric Crouch and all of these guys that were Heisman winners, that there wasn't anybody in the real time that was like, oh, yeah, that's the most outstanding player in college football. It was just the quarterback on Big State U that was the best team. And so they had a bunch of those that were handed out through the years. I thought there was a year Ndamukong Suh finished second or third. That was one that I remember vividly, like, oh, people can identify that it's not just a quarterback award. And when Ryan says that, immediately I think of Caleb Downs. And I think about the season that he's had and what he's been asked to do. But it's one of those things for, if you don't watch Ohio State every week the way that we do, how could you possibly conceptualize his value to that defense? Because if you just look statistically, there's not the interceptions, there's not the sacks, there's not the measurables that folks look for this time of year. That's what made Travis's case relatively easy, because he was a first-team All-American corner, and then he had the statistical accumulation on offense. I mean, no one had ever done what he did last year, and so that made that one a little easier. I think that for it to be off the pack, for it to be somebody other than a quarterback, running back, receiver, you have to have the extraordinary happen. And so that's why I still think that Jeremiah's got a decent chance at this thing if he dominates on Saturday. If he's healthy enough to dominate, I think he could sneak in and get it. I think it's pretty wide open. There's nobody who's ran away with it statistically.
And I think for, the point about how regional this is, like I wonder where the Southwest just skew towards Jacob Rodriguez. Will Jacob Rodriguez get a lot of points, a linebacker from Texas Tech, from voters in the Southwest who've seen a lot of Tech football? Because probably up here on the East Coast, maybe out in the Pacific Northwest, you're not watching a lot of Texas Tech football, but his stats have been, among the best defensively in the country, whereas Caleb, the stats aren't there because, he's just busy commanding an entire defense.
Right.
Like, you don't get stat points for telling every single player on the field, the other 10 guys, hey, go here right now. And I do think that, with certain players in certain individual regions of the country, that will take up points, like Rodriguez in the Southwest, like Diego Pavia in the South. I think for Jeremiah, he can at least do enough Saturday to be given a spot.
Yeah.
At on the Heisman stage, and I think he's certainly deserving of it.
I don't believe Jeremiah has any shot still at winning the award, but I do wonder, as I hear you, Bo, talk about Caleb Downs, if some people will, in a year where nobody has really separated themselves from the pack, I do wonder if some people will vote Jeremiah because, one, everybody agreed he was the best player in college football at the beginning of the year, and probably most agree that now. And two, when you look at an all-22, it's the same kind of effect that Caleb Downs has, where a defense has to skew, and it's no knock on a Carnell Tate or a Julian Sayin. Carnell Tate, he can get open on his own, but it sure does help when there's 2 or 3 guys spying on Jeremiah on the other side of the field.
Yeah, I disagree with you on Jeremiah because I still think the stage is big enough Saturday that if he went nuts, and he's capable, like he's capable of 8
and
for 210.
And they can do it.
Yeah, he's capable of that for sure. Yeah, and the thing with him is nobody has to be introduced to him. Everybody knows who he is. So there's an opportunity there. This is a story that can only happen in college football, and it has to do with crumble cookies, BYU, and Penn State.
Hell yeah.
Today is National Signing Day. They don't have a coach. It's coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Dormar, you're kind of hero.
When your furnace or air conditioner is broke, we come out that same day. Dormar, home the Tin Man.
James Laurinaitis here for my guys at Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. Green & Sons has all the Kubotas you need to tackle your land and come out a winner. They have zero-turn skid steers, tractors from 18 to 171 horsepower, and also utility vehicles. My favorite is my RTV Sidekick. The best thing about Green & Sons is they've been family-owned and operated since 1970, and you will love dealing with the Green family and their winning team. Do what I did and check out Green & Sons located in Mount Sterling and Marysville, or online at greenandsons.com for all your Kubota needs.
I love Right Pack Credit Union because they're solution driven.
I feel valued as a member. They're focused on the latest technology and the personal connections.
Experience benefits that go beyond banking with Right Pack Credit Union. Just ask our actual members.
I definitely recommend Right Pack to all my family and friends as a credit union of choice.
Visit one of our Columbus area Right Pack Credit Union member centers near you. Based on individual members' experiences, results may vary.
Shopping this time of year can be stressful, but when you've got a guy, everything gets a little easier. Meet my guy, Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers.
Hey, common man.
Hitting you one's car today, Bob?
Not yet.
If you're popping the question this holiday season, you'd be an absolute fool not to see Bob at Worthington Jewelers. The store is crowded all the time. Why? Because they give you the best price and service possible, and then people keep coming back.
I'm your guy.
Worthington Jewelers on High Street in Worthington. WorthingtonJewelers.com, where Columbus gets engaged.
It's the Kia Season of New Traditions sales event. So don't just hang your own lights. Look for the Northern Lights. Drink cocoa on the beach. Or be a drive-by karaoke caroler. Because every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. So you can take holidays to places they've never been. with a capable Kia SUV. And right now, get 0.9% APR for up to 60 months for well-qualified buyers and $1,000 bonus cash on the purchase of specially tagged new 2025 Telluride, Sorento, and Sportage models. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Financing for 24 to 60 months from Kia Finance. Subject to credit approval for purchase of a new 2025 Telluride, Sorento, and Sportage. $17.05 per month per $1,000 financed at 60 months. $1,000 bonus cash on specially tagged models must be applied as down payment. Must take delivery by 1/2/26. Offers may not be combined except where specified. Subject to dealer participation and vehicle availability. See Kia dealer for details.
All your favorite fan shows are on YouTube, along with those fake YouTube ads like Chew This Gum and It Grows New Teeth. Experience the splendor of Bo sitting in his closet, Timmy Hall's gouty gold chains, and Matty Ice wearing a coat in 90-degree weather. It's all there. Head to YouTube and subscribe today.
Skyline's Mac and Cheese 3-Way is back. This time with white cheddar cheese and creamy cavatappi pasta. Try a Mac and Cheese 3-Way with Skyline's original chili or their new chicken chili at participating Skyline locations for a limited time.
Dormar, you're kind of hero.
Ever wonder where your go-to maintenance person gets the metal products they need to fix yours and everyone else's problems? The best in the business go to Metal Supermarkets for their wide variety of metal products and shapes to tackle projects from simple to complex. Metal Supermarkets is your source for all metals cut to size and ready fast. No minimum order with maximum service. Visit the family-owned franchise on North Wilson Road or at Columbus at metalsupermarkets.com.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. When General Sherman marched through Georgia, he was listening to this show.
Use your skills for good, young warrior.
This is Bishop and Friends.
Indeed it is, and we are proudly sponsored and brought to you by our great friends at Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for over 78 years. All right, see if you can follow me on this. Penn State fires James Franklin first. They do so they can get a head start on the head coaching search, and the idea from folks over there is they've got their guy. Now, it's a real quiet search. There's not a whole lot of noise around it. It's not like the Kiffin stuff with LSU and UF. It just feels like they know what they're doing all along, or so we are told. So all of this stuff happens over the weekend in the Southeastern Conference. Jimmy Sexton, the super agent down there, is navigating most of it, and it's not a coincidence that once Kiffin agrees to LSU, all the rest of those dominoes started to fall at Auburn and Florida and everywhere else. But all quiet on the Penn State front. And then we get the news late on Sunday that Penn State has circled Kalani Sitake to be their next head coach. He's the current BYU head coach. They will play in the Big 12 championship game. He's a BYU player. He's been at BYU for a long time. He's easy to like. If you're not familiar with him, in the words of Kirk Cignetti, Google him. He's easy to like. He's got a great personality, big gregarious guy, incredible leader of men, all of those things. And to me, when I heard it, despite the fact that he hadn't spent much of his time on the East Coast, I thought, okay, that might work. That just might work. Recruiting to BYU is very similar to recruiting to Penn State. So fast forward to Monday night. There is a tweet from a guy named Jason McGowan. Now, if you're saying to yourself, who's Jason McGowan, don't worry about it. I didn't know either. He is the founder and CEO of Crumble Cookies. Now, I've had the Crumble Cookies because a lot of times they show up at the kids' birthday parties is usually where I see them. And they're fine. It's a fine cookie. Like it's not revolutionary. It's a cookie, and it's a good one. But I don't know that it's. But whatever. He's been very successful. Well, Jason McGowan is a BYU guy, and he tweets out, "I guess I need to get involved," and boy, did he get involved. And so the founder of Crumble Cookie, among others, decided we really don't want Kalani Sitake to leave BYU, and so they upped his pay. They upped the NIL pay at BYU. By the way, BYU's got a lot of money. So if they could easily be, and they have been. They've been very good since the transfer portal has been open, and my hunch is that they stay very, very good going forward, and especially because of this. So last night, Pete Thamel reported that Sitake informed people he's staying at BYU. They put together a lucrative package to keep him. He had been the main target of Penn State, or so we are told. They made it official later in the evening with a contract extension. This morning, on National Signing Day, James Franklin, who is currently at Virginia Tech, handed out boxes of crumble cookies at the signing day presser. Only in college football does this happen. And it's National Signing Day, and Penn State don't have a coach. Franklin took a lot of their class to Virginia Tech. I don't know what choice they have now other than to promote Terry Smith. It feels like that's kind of all they can do at this point. Everything else is gone. The other guy that they were interested in was the Chesney guy, and he signed at UCLA because they thought they were getting Satake. This could end up being whatever Penn State has been under Franklin, and we can be critical. And, Bake, I'll give you a lot of credit because you were like, be careful what you wish for on that with Franklin. Well, now they're getting it, and I don't know. This thing could fall off a cliff for them, guys. A cliff.
Well, I think it's going to, because you don't have a coach in place here for your National Signing Day, and you lost some pretty big-time recruits. I know the number one running back in the country was committed there. And maybe that wasn't for this year. Maybe that was for next year. But he is no longer committed to Penn State. Their recruiting classes, the projections on them and the rankings are not great. Now, could you overcome that if you get the right coach and you have all the booster buy-in and you can get some transfer guys in there? Sure, you can, but that transfer portal's coming quick. You need to move pretty fast. I feel like Penn State, and Bo, you said this for a while, Penn State felt like they had their guy. Mm-hmm. I feel like their guy bailed on them. And now they're running to backups, and none of the backups are coming. I feel like whoever they thought they were getting, I think they thought they were getting a big fish. Mm-hmm. And that big fish said, probably not. I'm going to stay where I am. And I think they're up creek without a paddle right now.
Buddy, they have 4 commits. They have the worst class in the Big Ten. 4.
And that's not good. Especially that team that's they may be good up the middle, but they do not have the horses they need on the outside and in the secondary.
No, I don't know what choice they have other than to elevate the interim.
No, that's it. They're stuck.
They're cooked.
Unless there's a coordinator out there that wants to take a shot.
I mean, I saw some reporting over the weekend that they were banking on like DeBoer losing the Auburn game and somehow convincing him to come to Penn State.
And you've heard that name a couple times now.
I know it. And I do understand it from his perspective. Like, you guys don't appreciate me. Fine. I'm going to go back to the North and I'm going to have a lot more grace to kind of build this the way that I want. But it's hard to imagine that now. There were reports that they went after like Clark Lee and Drinkwitz and all those guys, and they all got new contracts. They used kind of Penn State for new contracts. And then the Satake thing. I mean, this is a crumble. Think about this. This is the founder of Crumble Cookie. And then James Franklin is serving Crumble Cookie at the Virginia Tech signing day. Where else do we get this?
I think it was Todd McShay who had the report that Jimmy Sexton, super agent to these coaches, made life really, really, really hard for Penn State's athletic director, Pat Kraft.
Based on what?
Well, I think his client's James Franklin. And so I think Jimmy Sexton is using his influence. This is what Todd McShay is alleging, that Jimmy Sexton is using his influence to make life really, really tough for Penn State's athletic director.
Yeah,
and
but Jimmy
coaches,
Sexton likes money more than anything, and I'm sure if he could get one of his guys at Penn State, he'd be happy about taking percentage of that.
I'm also sure that he would tell his clients that if they're talking to Penn State, use that as a tool to get more money from the school you actually want to be at. And so that would give Penn State kind of that false sense of security, like, no, we got our guy. When everybody else around them is like, you absolutely don't have your guy. And now they have no guy.
Jim Knowles, dream job, Penn State.
I see no scenario how Terry Smith's not now made permanent. I just don't know what other choice they have in this thing. I mean, just think about, and by the way, with Fitzgerald going to Michigan State, like that's a guy that I thought maybe would make some sense. I think Luke could win there. I really do. I think he could win there. And I know he hasn't won at Wisconsin, but I think he could win there.
Maybe they're going to row the boat in Penn State.
That's kind of where you wonder. You wonder if there's some of that stuff. But, dude, today's National Signing Day. Like, clearly they're punting on the first one, and that tells you how bad their plan was, that they fired their coach first and how many times they whiffed because they don't have anybody. Signing days come and gone. The portal's going to open. They may still not have a coach. They have got to get going on this thing in short order. We'll do a little higher, lower coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We are your radio home for the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. We may have a bit of a football problem. Oh, yeah. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If you've hit your medical deductible, now's the time to see Dr. Mark Levy. Get a custom oral appliance that stops snoring and helps you ditch that CPAP and pay less out of pocket. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com before the year ends.
I love a good Hollywood casino party. Scotty Vegas here, and there are so many reasons to party on Sunday, December 7th with us. Watch the college football playoff bracket come out with us at noon. Watch the Browns, Bengals, and Steelers games all at 1 o'clock with us. Then parlay the great food, huge screens, and best big-time prizes at the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. You're watching. We're watching. Let's watch together. Sunday, December 7th at Hollywood Casino. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. It's cold here in Central Ohio. You know that, Columbus. And if you spent last winter thinking you need new windows, but you didn't want to spend the money, well, it's a good thing you waited, because right now during Window Nation's end-of-year sale, you can get 50% off, plus get 0% interest for 5 years. Not only could you get affordable custom windows, but shorter wait times mean you'll get them fast. And Window Nation will install them in 1 day while keeping your home warm and dry. Once they're installed, your new windows instantly stop those cold, wintry drafts better than the big-name brands. They also seal out moisture and are so energy efficient, you'll actually save money on your monthly utility bills. Plus, they're backed with a lifetime warranty. With such great windows and service, it's no wonder Window Nation has over 45,000 five-star reviews and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Don't wait to put an end to your window problems. Window Nation's end-of-year sale is your chance to save big with 50% off all window styles, plus 0% financing for 5 years. The sale ends soon, so visit windownation.com now to get started. Window Nation, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hey, Columbus. It's Lorenzo Stiles Jr., Ohio State student athlete. Football runs deep in my family. My dad played here, and now my brother and I are proud to carry on that tradition. At Monogram Homes, family matters too. They treat every homeowner like one of their own, building with care, precision, and pride. Monogram doesn't just build houses, they build homes, crafted just for you. So whether you're starting your first home or designing your dream space, Monogram Homes has got your back every step of the way. Visit monogramhomes.net to start building today. Monogram Homes, a builder you can trust.
Our clients deserve for us to care, and they deserve to feel serviced. They have questions, and they deserve answers. We're counselors first because I'm not selling them anything. I'm trying to teach clients how to protect themselves. At Curtis & Associates, we're personal injury attorneys. We've helped and continue to help hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. That's important to us. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, call now. 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT. Curtis & Associates, attorneys who care.
Would you enjoy watching a football game if the officials were paid a bonus for every flag they threw? Or a basketball game where the refs got paid for every foul they called? Okay, how about hiring a furnace and AC company that pays its technicians by the number of parts they can sell you? Hi, this is Dennis, president of Care Heating and Cooling, and today, this is how many companies operate. They call it performance pay, and it rewards technicians by paying them more for billing you more. Why is this bad? Because it abuses your trust in a technician to be treated fairly and honestly. At Care, we've been family-owned for 31 years and have always paid our technicians by the hour for repairs. We'll show you exactly what needs to be fixed and why, and give you our low upfront cost before we start. And unlike other companies, our technicians will never be rewarded for throwing more flags. Our Central Ohio-based staff is here for you 7 days a week. Care Heating and Cooling. Book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com or call us at 1-800-COOLING. When you need a company you can trust.
People can't say enough amazing things about Vanscoy Hair Clinics. Men and women struggle with hair loss every day, and they completely change their lives. Vanscoy Hair Clinics is the only company in Ohio that has PRP, platelet-rich plasma, and the multi-unit hair grafting hair transplant procedure. Go to vanscoyhair.com for more info, or call 614-432-8042. Here's what some of their hair transplant clients have said.
Around 26, 27, I lost almost all of my hair on top. It changed my life.
life in ways that I cannot imagine.
My hair is going to continue growing for the rest of my life. There is hope that you can do something about your hair loss.
Multi-unit hair grafting gives you 3 times more hair per procedure, saving you time and money. Hair transplants are more affordable than ever, and PRP is a fast, easy, and effective 45-minute treatment for thinning or damaged hair. Call Van Scoy for a free consultation, 614-432-8042, or visit vanscoyhair.com. That's 614-432-8042. Find out what procedure will restore your hair.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Don't let your insurance benefits go to waste. End the year sleeping better with Dr. Mark Levy's oral appliance. No mask, no noise, just results. Hurry, deductibles reset soon. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com today.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. CBS Sports and ESPN are reporting that South Florida is expected to hire Ohio State offensive coordinator Brian Hartline as their next head coach. USF lost Alex Golesh to Auburn last week. It's a busy time in college football as today's early national signing day. More than half of Ohio State's class of 2026 has put pen to paper. Buckeyes are still waiting on letters of intent from a pair of Mater Dei receivers in California. 5-star Chris Henry Jr. and 4-star Caden Dixon-Wyatt are expected to sign with Ohio State sometime this hour. 24/7 Sports has OSU's class ranked 5th behind Oregon, Notre Dame, Alabama, and number 1 Southern California. On the field, number 1 Ohio State's a 4.5-point favorite in Saturday's Big Ten Championship. Buckeyes will play number 2 and 12-0 Indiana Saturday night at 8 o'clock. Hear from Ohio State's head coach tomorrow at noon on the Ryan Day Radio Show right here on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
With friends like these, who needs former college football players? This is Bishop and Friends.
Well, you certainly heard the breaking news there from the handsome Update Acre. CBS, Pete Thamel, Bunch reporting this. Ohio State offensive coordinator Brian Hartline expected to become the next head coach at South Florida. There's a lot of details that I'm curious about on this. Is this something that would happen right away? The timing of this is pretty wild because National Signing Day is today, and the prize of this Buckeye class is Chris Henry Jr., and he is the number 1 receiver in the country, and he is going to make his pen-to-paper official at 10:30, which is 28 minutes from now, with a press conference out in Santa Ana, California. So I'm curious about the timing of that and the way all of that looks. I think in terms of first jobs from a coordinator position to a head coach position, I think Brian learned a lot from Luke Fickell taking the Cincinnati job, Tom Herman taking the Houston job. The common denominators there was an opportunity to have success in a place that you are very familiar. Brian Hartline was a wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins for several years. He has recruited Florida successfully for a great many years. South Florida is a program that you can win at. Alex Golesh just did win at South Florida. They're in a position where that cupboard ought to be relatively full for Brian to jump into, and obviously it'll be an operation that, from a transfer portal perspective, you should have a great deal of success. It's mostly a commuter school, is kind of the sense of it. It's huge, but it's mostly a little bit of that, and it's in the Tampa area, and there's a ton of talent in the proximity of it. So to me, it's a giving yourself a chance to succeed in a relatively big way, and get him into a spot where he can have success. And I don't know if this happens if he's not the offensive coordinator calling plays this year. My hunch is probably not. But I think I do like this fit for Brian. I'm incredibly happy for him for wanting to take on this challenge. I think for Ohio State, and guys, I just want to be abundantly clear with this. This isn't scores. This isn't anything. It's just connecting dots and throwing stuff at the wall on a first Friday. I do wonder if he wants to go right away. Do they allow him? And then you have a guy who's now available in Chip Kelly who could come back and help with the offense. Like, he's sitting there waiting. So you could absolutely do that if you wanted to and if Brian wanted to. But my hunch is Brian would want to finish his job. But again, this goes back to the calendar thing where, like, can he? He's got stuff to do, man.
If you're hiring him, I do think a lot of the Group of 5 schools kind of understand. So it would be, I think, just what Brian would want to do. If he wants to finish it out, and I think everybody lets him, certainly USF, I don't think it would impact their signing day too much today because it feels like they're going to go off of, especially with the first-year head coach, you go off of the portal and you see what guys, you have already in your program, less on guys you can recruit out of high school. Now, this also, I don't think this is connected at all, but Caden Dixon-Wyatt has reportedly flipped his commitment from Ohio State to Southern California. Rivals just with that.
They were talking about that. And again, who knows, maybe some of these, maybe Brian was honest with these guys and said he was talking about this and this could be a chance. But you saw that early this morning that Caden Dixon-Wyatt was thinking about flipping that commit to Southern Cal.
Yeah, and you have to, there's a lot of uncertainty around all of this. I know Brian was up for the West Virginia job a couple of years ago. He's obviously an elite recruiter. He's played such an integral part in making Ohio State wide receiver U over the time that he's been here. And he's worked his way up from a GA to receivers coach to this year to being co-offensive coordinator to this year calling plays and all of that. And so he will take according to a great many people, he's going to take the job at USF. I don't imagine, my hunch is this wasn't a wild surprise for Ryan. And my hunch is that they probably have a contingency plan in place for a replacement. Now, the Kelly thing kind of comes out of nowhere, but there's also, the receiver part of it, the recruiting part of it, all of those things. Ohio State, I think they're probably prepared for contingencies upon contingencies. My hunch is that they probably had a sense that this was coming and have already prepared accordingly for it.
You do have Ryan Day, and Tyler Bowen's been an offensive coordinator before. So I can also see where, like with any boss, and I think Ryan Day is one of the best bosses in the country, really, at any company. And the Ohio State is a Fortune 500 company, or the Ohio State football team is that. And I can see where he's sitting down with them and going, what is, to borrow your phrase, but what's your why? Like, do you want to be a head coach somewhere? And I'm sure along the way, Brian and probably some other guys on his staff are telling him, I'd like to be a head coach someday.
The first thing I thought of, Bo, when I heard this was obviously Jeremiah's from Florida. Does Brian try to take him there? But I'm guessing they can't match any kind of NIL deal that Jeremiah's getting here. But who knows? The second thing I thought of was Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly just got fired from his job. Could he possibly come back and help Ryan maybe kind of oversee things here? Why Ryan maybe takes over the offense and Chip Kelly helps him out, or Chip Kelly just being 1 year away, knowing everything there, could probably do that. I also thought how you talked there, Reese. Tyler Bowen was an offensive coordinator at Virginia Tech, and it didn't end great for him while he was the OC at Virginia Tech, but he's done great with this offensive line. I'm sure he can help out with running things. Heck, Matt Patricia was an offensive coordinator once, and he's been so good. Let's let him get involved in the offense, too.
He's got a lot to do defensively, I think.
Yeah, my hunch is, and I don't know Brian the way that I know some, and obviously covered him when he was here and know him decent, but not well enough to be able to answer what his why is. But my hunch is that you're probably itching to get a shot. And my hunch is, too, that for all of the reporting about Penn State and those type of jobs having an interest, that they probably wanted to see him run a program first before they took that type of a gamble on a coordinator who just recently started calling plays. So that's kind of my hunch on how this took out. I think USF is almost a perfect starter job for him. I mean, it's
See what the last guy did.
Yeah, and it very much reminds me of Luke going to Cincinnati. Luke, obviously, I mean, that was going to a city with Luke's Catholic, all of those things. And you think about this notion of Luke being able to recruit that area and recruiting Ohio. He's such a synonymous Ohioan. And I think for Brian, this one makes a lot of sense. I think it makes a ton of sense. He's very familiar with that area. He's been very successful recruiting that area. Obviously, he's not going to go toe-to-toe with everybody who recruits that area, which is only the entire country. But he can get the secondary players. My guess is he's has a great deal of trust, especially at places like St. Thomas Aquinas or Apopka, these massive powerhouse South Florida, Central Florida powerhouse programs. He has a great deal of respect that he's earned through the years of recruiting that area. So I like it from his perspective. I love the idea of, Tampa's a great place to live. So I think quality of life is going to be really cool for him too. But he really had roots here. And so there was obviously something with Brian, a scratch that needed to be itched of, can I do this? Can I go run a program? And I think that there could be, I mean, again, this is all just happening. We're reacting live in real time. I do think there could be a situation where could some other folks from this staff join him? Probably not frontline guys, but certainly some assistant position coaches and that type of stuff. He's going to want to take a lot of this infrastructure or what he can afford to take with him.
Yeah, Ross Dellinger reporting that Hartline's going to sign a 6-year deal with the Bulls and then coach Ohio State in the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the beautiful thing about hiring an offensive head coach. Like when the coordinator goes, this is why like Ole Miss was in such a pickle when Kiffin left, because he's the offensive coach, and that's why like Charlie Weiss is going back. Did you see that? He's going to go back to call plays for Ole Miss now in the playoff. LSU's letting him go back. So
we'll have Lane Kiffin's statement on that later in the program, but it's
crazy.
Hilarious.
Yeah. So the good news though from the Ohio State perspective is, guess what? Ryan Day knows how to call plays. So there's nothing that changes there if it doesn't need to. If Brian is distracted a little bit over the next couple of weeks, and you can understand how he would be. He's got to put together his staff. He's got a signing day. He's got a portal he's got to get done. There's a lot of layers to this thing.
I understand we got to do higher or lower contractual obligations and such, but I think it's hilarious that with Ryan and with Tyler and the guys on the field. Like, they had to do a lot of the play calling against Michigan because Michigan turned off Ohio State's headsets. So I really would love to, maybe in a year, ask Brian Hartline, like, what was that like? Because I don't think Brian will say anything, but I think USF head coach Brian Hartline might tell you what happened that day in Ann Arbor.
He very well might. So the breaking news of the day, Brian Hartline, Ohio State offensive coordinator, wide receivers coach, one of the best recruiters in all of college football, is taking the job at USF to be their head coach. Now, Ohio State does have a press conference today for National Signing Day. I think it's God, this sport is nuts.
Man.
This is nuts. They got a signing day press conference at noon. Are we carrying that live here?
I don't want to speak for the station, but that's exactly what I'm about to do.
We have to ask AR on that, but I'm pretty sure that's happening.
I think he'll want to. Yeah, I think you'd want to, especially with this news. So we'll keep reacting to this. We are contractually obligated to do a little higher lower, so we'll do that as well on the college football playoff rankings from last night. But again, the breaking news of the day, Ohio State offensive coordinator, former Buckeye legend and current wide receivers coach and one of the best recruiters in college football is leaving town. He is going to South Florida to coach the Bulls. More reaction on that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
One of our specialties here at Pella Wilson is getting rid of old, smaller windows with no view and replacing them with huge, beautiful windows that can change the look and feel of your home.
We tried that once, but we cut the hole a bit too big, so we had to put in a garage door instead in their dining room.
Wilson.
Didn't improve the view, but they do have a drive-through now, so you're welcome, Grewball family.
Get the windows that can change the look and feel of your home at PellaColumbus.com.
Feeling stuck on your own 10-yard line in the career game? Maybe it's time to just go for IT. My Computer Career has the game plan to score a rewarding new IT career in months. Whether you're a rookie, a breakout career changer, or a military veteran ready to serve. Why spend years chasing a college degree when you can fast-track your future in IT starting now? Take your mark, get set, go for IT. Take the free career evaluation at mycomputercareer.edu today. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Imagine the perfect chicken tender. Crispy, juicy, for lack of a better word, tendery. Now imagine these perfect tenders at Wendy's. 'Cause they are. Wendy's new chicken tenders are here with delicious new dipping sauces like Wendy's Signature, Creamy Ranch, and Honey Barbecue. And they're so good, we even changed our name from Wendy's to Tendies. I believe that's what the kids call manifesting. For tendies you're gonna know by name, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's. This holiday, give a gift that changes everything. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. Our family's helped couples celebrate love for over 78 years. From timeless solitaires to custom designs that reflect your unique story, our in-house jewelers ensure every detail shines. And with our guaranteed best price, you can shop with confidence, knowing your forever piece is as exceptional as your love. This holiday, make her wish come true with the Diamond Cellar ring, because the only thing better than unwrapping a little blue box is saying yes to forever.
Skyline's Mac and Cheese 3-Way is back. This time with white cheddar cheese and creamy cavatappi pasta. Try a Mac and Cheese 3-Way with Skyline's original chili or their new chicken chili at participating Skyline locations for a limited time.
To say that we're excited about the Buckeyes playing Indiana for the Big Ten Championship would be an understatement. So we're giving you 11 hours of pregame. 11!
Please go to 11.
It all begins Saturday morning at 9. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
Does your vehicle need maintenance, but you don't have time? Krieger Ford's got you covered. Enjoy our convenient pickup and delivery service, or we come to you with our mobile service van. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Schedule your appointment today, only at KriegerFord.com.
Come on, kids, we're going to Grandma's house.
Grandma's house! Grandma's house! What do we do to be safe and ready to go? We buckle up. Buckle up.
Phones down.
Thumbs down. And when we go, take it slow. And if you drink,
Don't drive. And off we go.
ODOT, the Ohio State Highway Patrol, and the Ohio Traffic Safety Office are doing their part to keep roads safe. Do your part to make sure everyone makes it home safe for the holidays.
Getting a live Christmas tree to plant after the holidays? Well, here are some tips. In the house, keep it away from heat sources that could wake it up out of dormancy. You don't want that. Dig your hole now before the ground freezes. Or if you plan to wait till spring, you need to protect roots from extreme cold with mulch or straw. And move it from the warm house to an unheated area like a garage temporarily to make the transition outside more gentle. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the Ohio chapter of the International Society of Arboriculture at treesforohio.org. That's trees, the number 4, ohio.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
In Central Ohio, I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Michael Behrens with your latest forecast. Quiet weather today, but cold. Low 30s this afternoon with some sunshine. We'll see a little bit of light snowfall overnight into early Thursday, but impact should be minimal. Temperatures in the 20s Thursday afternoon. Early Friday, cold temperatures. Wait for single digits to greet you as you head out the door in the morning. That's your latest 10 Weather Impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
The Big Nine was a sad, incomplete place. Enter Ohio State. The rest is history. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan. Taking the art of sports radio and day drinking to a whole new level. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
It's your Uncle Bo here. Get ready to play, win, and celebrate big at El Dorado Scioto Downs, your ultimate Caesars Rewards destination. With Caesars Rewards, you're going to earn rewards every time you play, stay, dine, or shop, not just here, but over 50 Caesars Rewards destinations across the country. From unforgettable getaways to incredible culinary experiences, members enjoy exclusive perks and benefits that make every visit worth it. Here at Scioto Downs, the excitement is nonstop. Take your pick from more than 1,700 of the hottest new games, sip on award-winning craft brews at the Brew Brothers Microbrewery, or dive into Guy Fieri's Trattoria. It's home of the out-of-bounds 68-layer lasagna, and the energy just keeps on building. Scioto Downs has been chosen to host the prestigious Breeders' Crown in 2026, featuring 12 championship races. It's one of the biggest events in harness racing. It's right here in town. So come experience the action, the rewards, and the unforgettable moments. They're all waiting for you at El Dorado Scioto Downs, a Caesars Rewards destination where the rewards never stop. Must be 21 older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966. Visit Caesars.com/Scioto Downs for details. The breaking news of the morning: Brian Hartline, Ohio State offensive coordinator, longtime wide receivers coach, former player, of course, and one of the best recruiters in all of college football, is taking his talents south to South Florida. He will be the head coach at USF. The reporting as of right now is that he will stay on at Ohio State through the college football playoff run. But obviously, we did this before with Herman when he was going to Houston. He State, and Ohio State won a national championship. So there is precedent for this that we experienced about 10 years ago. I get it from every perspective. I understand the itch to want to coach. I think that he's giving himself a very good chance to succeed. Not only has he recruited the state of Florida at an elite level for a long time, but he also obviously lived down there in Miami. It's an important distinction, and it makes absolutely no sense, but the University of South Florida, for those who do not know, is in Tampa. It is not in Miami or South Florida at all, so I don't understand the naming of it. But that's what it is. But to me, it makes a lot of sense for a lot of reasons for Brian, and I'm happy for him to get the opportunity.
I see a lot of people on social media and in the YouTube chat talking about, oh, it seems like a demotion. Why would he go there? He doesn't need any money. It shouldn't be about the money of being at Ohio State and winning and Well, he wants to be a head coach, and that's not happening here.
Yeah.
And it may not happen here even if Ryan Day leaves in the next 5 years, because they probably would like to have someone with head coaching experience, even though Ryan Day didn't have that when they came on. But you want to see what Brian's got. So, I mean, it makes all the sense if he wants to be a head coach someday. Maybe his dream isn't to be a head coach at Ohio State. Maybe it's to be a head coach in the NFL. Who knows what Brian Hartline's why is? So to say this doesn't make sense is a little crazy and short-sighted.
Well, we view everything through scarlet and gray colored glasses, and who would ever leave
There's
us?
no better job than the one in Columbus. How dare you?
So
I mean, he's
that's
39. This is the next logical step. If you want to go to be a head coach in a Power 5 program, if you want to take the Penn State job when maybe it opens up in a couple of years, you've got 4 successful seasons at South Florida, maybe even less. You've recruited some of the top talent in the state of Florida, so you show a propensity to do all of that in such an important football hotbed. You can go anywhere.
Buddy, he could win for 2 years at USF and have his pick of the SEC jobs.
Yeah, I guess if the playoff expands,
like who's to say
you can
he can't
fast track it?
Who's to say he can't be the head coach at Alabama in 2 years? I'm sure Tennessee will fire a coach. Like they fire coaches every 3 years down there.
Also, who's to say he doesn't have a 3 or 4 year run at USF and it's really good in the Miami Dolphins? Or someone like that come calling and asking him to be their head coach.
Yeah. So that's the thing. None of it. We don't know his why. Now we do. He wants to be a head coach. Here's the opportunity to be one. And away we go. How does it affect the Buckeyes? You know, the first thing that jumps out to me is on National Signing Day, right? The kid who flipped his commitment to USC, the other kid at Mater Dei, according to my sourcing, that was not a surprise at all.
And that's what everybody's
was
saying.
Coming, that was very much expected. Look, in many instances now with these kids, it just comes down to money now, is who's going to give me the most on National Signing Day. That's where I'm going to go. And we'll have a little conversation about that coming up at 11:20. But, yeah.
I was going to say USC, they got the top-ranked class in 2026. They got 34 commits. Like, guys, what are you doing?
And Ohio State is expected to sign a big class, 27 to 29, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
It's being reported that they're making a big push after Caden Gebhardt, the Olentangy safety, who is committed to Clemson, and also a Florida cornerback commit. But they're 27 to 29, that seems like a monstrous class, and USC's getting 34.
Yeah, it's huge. All right, we got to do a little higher, lower. Let's go ahead and do it.
Bishop and Friends present Higher or Lower.
Sponsored by the Waterworks. Call the Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling today at 614-232-2222 or visit online at thewaterworks.com.
The penultimate college football playoff rankings and bracket projection were announced last night. It was chalk at 1 and 2, as it's been since the playoff committee graced us with their presence back in, October?
Yeah.
Ohio State and Indiana, the top 2 teams in the country, will meet Saturday in Indianapolis for the Big Ten Championship. At number 3, you've got Georgia. At 4, Texas Tech. At 5, Oregon. At number 6, moving up a spot this week, Ole Miss. Higher or lower for the Rebels at 6?
Yeah, I thought it was really fascinating that Ole Miss went ahead of Texas A&M. I really thought Texas A&M. I didn't think that was. I mean, Texas has got a lot of talent. I didn't think that was I didn't think it was that damaging a loss for A&M to lose in Austin. So I was a little surprised that Texas A&M fell behind Ole Miss, because now that seems locked in. There's nothing either one of those programs can do this weekend to change their position on that. And the fact that Ole Miss went up a spot and A&M went behind them after all the Kiffin stuff is wild to me. I didn't think they would punish Ole Miss the way that they punished Florida State, because I think a head coach is different than a quarterback. And they saw Florida State play without Jordan Travis, and it wasn't good at all. Ole Miss still has their whole team, and according to, and I know we're going to get to this, they're going to have their play caller, or one of them. So that I think was the most interesting thing is what they decided to do with A&M versus Ole Miss, because the 5-6 seeds in this, guys, are in a pretty good catbird seat. That's going to be Group of 5 and very likely Virginia. If it's not Virginia, it could be another Group of 5 team being the 11 seed. So the 5 and 6 is where you want to be.
So I think Ole Miss is pretty appropriately ranked right there, because I believe if Ole Miss played Texas A&M, I think Ole Miss would beat them, quite frankly. I'm also not sure if Ole Miss played Alabama and Oklahoma right now that those two teams wouldn't win, but Ole Miss did beat Oklahoma earlier this season, so I think that's the right spot for Ole Miss.
At number 7, like you said, Texas A&M. The Aggies fall 4 spots after losing to Texas. At 8, Oklahoma. 9, Alabama. At number 10, despite beating Stanford, Notre Dame. Higher or lower for the Irish at 10?
They are hanging on by the thinnest of threads. And I was paying attention to some of the stuff Pete Sampson, who's a great friend of the program, some of the stuff he had to say. It feels like, and this is so arbitrary and so utter nonsense, it feels like the committee is setting up a situation where if BYU loses to Texas Tech, Notre Dame can be jumped by Miami. That's what it seems like they're setting up to me, because now magically they can compare the two. So I know Notre Dame people took great notice of the fact that a couple of weeks ago they were 8th in this, and now they're 10th despite winning all their games. And I'm sure there's a great deal of consternation about what's happened to Bama. Or Notre Dame, rather.
I think this is probably appropriate for Notre Dame, too. I'm with you, Bo. I think they're going to do it in the long run, and I think they're definitely doing it if Duke wins the ACC championship, because I don't think these conference commissioners, they all pal around, they're all buddies. I don't think they want the ACC left out. So I do think they are setting this up to put Miami over Notre Dame at the end.
So what would that do? They would essentially take the winner of Tulane, because they have, they take the winner of Tulane, North Texas, and they take James Madison over Duke, and then they would put Miami in over Notre Dame.
At number 11, you've got the Cougars of BYU. At 12, the aforementioned Miami Hurricanes. At 13, up 3 spots, are the Texas Longhorns. At 14, Vanderbilt. Higher or lower for Vandy at 14?
No, Texas beat them, and it was worse than the score would lead you to believe. And I was happy that the committee rewarded Texas for playing Vanderbilt head-to-head and beating the brakes off them. It didn't look it, but if you watch the game, they were up 3 scores in the 4th, and Vanderbilt got some garbage touchdowns to make it look closer than it is. But the games on the field have to matter. They have to. I also feel like there is a concrete ceiling on Texas that Texas will stay at 13, and nobody behind them can move up, and that's it. Those two teams are both out.
Yeah, I think this is right for Vanderbilt because, as you mentioned, Bo, Texas beat them. So Texas needs to stay ahead of them. I think this is a fascinating question for all these teams. Like, who do you think would win in a head-to-head matchup right now? Because I'm not sure Vanderbilt wouldn't beat Miami right now. Would they beat BYU?
Because of that win over Tennessee?
I mean, what is Miami?
Your beloved Vols?
What has Miami done recently, though? So
I don't know.
I think I believe in Diego Pavia a little more than Carson Beck to make a play at the end of a game. So
I think that part's fair, but it's just, this is how ridiculous this all is. Like we're taking like, it's just utter nonsense. It's beautiful, but it's other nonsense. All right, good job out of you, Reese, on a little higher or lower. The breaking news of the day: Brian Hartline going to take the head job at South Florida. Ohio State will have a press conference at noon. It was on National Signing Day, but obviously now this will be a big topic of conversation. All the while, Chris Henry Jr., the apple of the eye in this recruiting class, set to sign here in the next couple of minutes. Nothing official yet from him. And we got Jake Trotter in 2 minutes. So you have all that to look forward to, which is nice. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Men, it's the holidays, the season of all kinds of hustle and bustle. But if your energy is down, if you aren't sleeping well, if your sex drive is MIA, and you just don't feel like the guy you once were, maybe it's tough to get excited for all the holiday cheer. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if this sounds like you may have low testosterone. And if so, this is the season for you to get treated. At Tri-State Men's Health, we're experts in treating low T. If you're like most guys, you'll feel the change in just a few weeks. And truly, the results can be life-changing. You'll have improved mental clarity, your energy will kick up, your workouts will be better, your sleep patterns will improve, and your sex drive will likely heat up as well. So call us, and don't go through another season with low T. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. That's tristatemenshealth.com. We have 2 convenient locations in the area to serve you, in Hilliard and Westerville.
Last year, I remember running around Hollywood Casino, hugging and high-fiving everyone during the Scoop and Score. I remember dancing around the sportsbook during the Natty. I'm Scotty Vegas, and there's no place to watch a game, especially a championship game, like Hollywood Casino Columbus and the sportsbook. Let's watch together. Prizes, great food, amazing screens, a championship watch party Saturday night. Join the Fan Saturday night, starting at 8. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Accurate Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Let me introduce you to a man with a magnificent salt and pepper beard. A man who's currently roasting lamb on a spit. A man who runs the Rocky River Greek Festival. That man is Jake Trotter.
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery Co. Visit their Grandview, Gahanna, and Westerville locations to experience the best in craft dining and distilling. Learn more at highbankco.com.
All right, and if you're just joining us, the breaking news of the last half hour, Ohio State offensive coordinator, former Buckeye legend, and one of the best receiver coaches and recruiters in the country, headed to South Florida to be the head coach of the Bulls. Brian's had the itch to coach for a while. Now he gets his opportunity down at USF. Jake, your thoughts on what just happened here in the last half hour?
Yeah, it's been another crazy day in the coaching carousel. Good for Brian Hartline. I think we could make the case that he's been the best position coach in the country. You look at what he's done at the receiver position. You know, his former players comprise like 4 or 5 of the 15 best receivers in the NFL, it feels like at this point. And he's got, a couple more on the way in Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith, among others. So I think it's a terrific hire by South Florida. Hartline has a lot of familiarity with that part of the country. Ennis Tate and Jeremiah all come from the South Florida area. So I think it makes a lot of sense for everybody. And, it's good for Ohio State. My understanding, he's going to coach the Buckeyes through the playoff. So, yeah, I mean, there's going to be big shoes to fill, but certainly a great opportunity for Hartline and well-deserved, too.
And just another example of how broke this calendar is. Today's National Signing Day, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, it's
so stupid.
Everything feels more and more stupid the further we get into this. Yeah, I mean, it's the decision makers in the sport have led us to this situation where teams are losing coaches ahead of the playoff at Ole Miss, and even places like North Texas, losing Eric. I mean, Eric Morris is going to coach North Texas through the American Championship. They could get into the playoff with a win over Tulane, but he's already recruiting for Oklahoma State. Across the board, it's absolute chaos this time of year. They did a good job, with the transfer portal, putting that a little bit back and creating one timeline. But, it hasn't slowed down the coaching carousel, and it's going to have a big impact on playoff teams across the board because, even if you're still coaching, the team you're at, dual responsibility, that's going to take a toll. I mean, it would have to. So it is tricky.
Yeah, we had some precedent around here with it. The calendar wasn't as screwed up as it is now, but Tom Herman took the Houston job and finished out as offensive coordinator at Ohio State.
Won the title. So we've seen that happen here directly. It was a different climate, and it was a 14 versus 12, and there wasn't a portal and all the rest of it. So the timing isn't great, I don't think by any stretch, but I'm very happy for Brian, and I do think that it sheds light a little bit on, because the one thing that we've talked about in all of this, and I know you certainly have followed them closely, like, what is Penn State doing? Did he miss on everybody, Jake? They have the worst class in the Big Ten. They clearly punted on the class. You have the story now where the Crumble Cookie founder comes in and keeps Sataki at BYU. Doesn't feel like they have a plan B. To me, it feels like they're going to have to name the interim coach the head coach. And you're sitting here, meantime, James Franklin has a signing day down in Virginia Tech, and he's handing out boxes of Crumble Cookies to the reporters covering it. Like, that's happening today. That program could fall. I mean, isn't it the best? But like that program could fall off a cliff, buddy. That's when I learned that Crumble Cookie was based out of Utah, because the NBA All-Star game was in Salt Lake, and somebody sent a photo of the media spread, and it had like every Crumble Cookie that had ever been created. Yeah, I mean, like, I thought that was a really odd fit anyway, Sataki to Penn State. I mean, he's coached in Utah or the West Coast his entire life, and now he's going to come to Penn State, where he has like zero ties to the school or that area. It really felt like not even plan D, E, or F, but like below that. Obviously they had interest in Cignetti and Rule. Those guys got extensions. I kind of wondered if they would circle back to Hartline, as a possibility, given his, experience in the Big Ten. That's off the table now. I don't know if you saw what Ben Roethlisberger said, I think today or yesterday, that Mike Tomlin should leave the Steelers and go to Penn State, which actually would be really interesting. I'm not sure that's what Tomlin would like to do. That coaching search has been eerily quiet, other than the Sataki news this week. I don't know where they're going at this point. It kind of feels like the carousel is getting ready to come to a close, right? Like, there's not really many more dominoes to fall, and I don't know what they're doing there. I think that Pat Kraft went into the process aiming really, really high, and it seems like that maybe is backfiring on him, because it proved to be unrealistic in some cases. Like, you're not going to get Ryan Day. You're not going to get Marcus Freeman. And so now you're not even getting Cignetti, Rule, go down the list, Sataki.
Drinkwitz, all of them. Yeah.
I mean, the JMU coach I thought was a possibility. He's going to UCLA now. So yeah, I don't know what they're doing. That is, and like you said, signing day is today.
Yeah.
Would you go to a school where it's like unclear what direction they're heading in terms of head coach?
Not only wouldn't I, but nor would anybody else. They only have 4 guys committed.
I know.
So and you can get over that. I mean, you've got a portal, and you can tread water. I don't think you should just take kids to take them. I think they're at the point where it's going to have to be Terry Smith is kind of what I mean. The interim's going to have to be the head coach.
You think that's going to happen?
I don't know what other choice they have at this point.
He did a good job, like getting them to fight late in the year. It looked like they were just headed for an absolute spiral. We saw in the Ohio State game, like, they hung in there for a half. Coulda, woulda, shoulda beaten Indiana, and they ended up making a bowl. After starting 0-4 in the Big Ten. So he did a pretty good job. But like, again, that was a pretty talented roster, even with Drew Aller out. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think that was their first choice, but it might be the choice they're going to have to make if they keep striking out.
It definitely wasn't their first choice, but I think now they have to pivot to just roster retention. Like, I think they're past trying to improve upon James Franklin. I think that Smith would have the best chance of keeping the roster relatively together, and you kind of tread water for a couple of years until maybe you get the guy that you really want. That's kind of my sense of where they're at now. I did want to ask you about this Big Ten championship game. It's a unique one. My hunch is if you ask Kirby Smart or Kalen DeBoer, neither one of those guys wants to play that game on Saturday. But I do think the Big Ten one has interest from both. I think the fact that, to me, both these teams are going to get a bye helps no matter what the result is. I think one's the 1, the other's the 4. And I think the other thing is Indiana hasn't won a Big Ten title since 1967. Ohio State hasn't won one since 2020. So I do think that this one, and then there's all the Heisman stuff. What is kind of your read on this Big Ten title game, especially coming out of the Buckeye win up in Ann Arbor the way that they did?
Yeah, it's very different from the SEC. If Alabama loses to Georgia, are they out of the playoff? I mean, who knows with this committee? It seems like they change the rules week to week. Mm-hmm. But if you're Ohio State, Indiana, you've already clinched the playoff spot. You've already clinched the bye unless somebody gets beat by 60 this weekend. And so, you're in pretty good shape. And this is a big deal, even for Ohio State. They haven't been since 2020. None of these players have played in this setting before. It's still an accomplishment to win the conference. And like you mentioned, Indiana, I mean, this is an unprecedented situation for them, as good as they were last year. They didn't play in the Big Ten title game. That was Penn State and Oregon. So, yeah, and if you're Indiana, you get to go to the Rose Bowl, number 1 overall seed. I'm not sure, if you're going to have a more favorable matchup, depending on how the dominoes fall this weekend. Right now, it's looking like, Oklahoma, maybe Notre Dame in the 8-9. If, let's say you drop to the 4, so then you would play, would that be Oregon? Would that be Georgia? It just kind of depends, again, what happens. So, you might end up with an easier matchup. You might end up with a tougher matchup. You can't really, go off that because who knows what's going to happen. But, yeah, I think that both teams want to win this game. I think it's, despite the talk of the demise of the conference championships, I think at least in this case, it still matters to both these teams. And I think they're going to both go out and try to win it, especially knowing they're not going to play again till when's the quarterfinal, the end of the year, basically?
Yeah, I don't think they would play again until the title game. I think they'll put them on other sides of the bracket almost no matter what. But
No, I'm saying any game. They're not going to play a game until...
Oh, no, right. New Year's Eve.
So so that's...
at the earliest. Or New Year's Day. That's 3 weeks.
3.5 weeks away. Yeah.
Tons of time.
Yeah.
Tons of time to get healthy. God, this sport's great. It's so bad, but it's so great.
Is it? I'm starting to have my doubts at times.
It's both. Look, dude, you and I are in the content business. It's gold. Yeah. It's gold for this. The rest of it is utter chaos. But for our business, it's good. It's very good.
Well,
good
even yesterday, Ryan Day, he had that insinuation that Michigan may have messed with the wink. I got a statement from Michigan. They were not happy about that. I don't know if you saw that or not, but right, they were not happy with Ryan Day's insinuation that they had anything to do with what happened.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, they're so trustworthy. Good talking to you, pal, as always.
All right, Sibo.
All right, there he goes. Jake Trotter, senior college football reporter at ESPN, joining on the Brian Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. The breaking news of the day, Brian Hartline heading to South Florida to be the head coach of the Bulls. National Signing Day is today. A press conference up on campus at noon that was supposed to be National Signing Day related will now include some conversation about this as well. We'll continue to monitor it as the day goes along. Thing or not a thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Check off the wish list with instant savings and free battery offers on select steel tools. Shop online or in store.
This is a Daily Show with Coach Jake Diebler, brought to you by Encova Insurance. Christoph Tilley, what he brings to you this year is a big man being as mobile as he is part of his tool set.
Yeah, versatility is his biggest strength. And when you combine that with a high basketball IQ, you got something really special. And he's been really consistent for us, struggled a little bit last game, but expect him to bounce back in a big way as he continues to get healthy.
Okay, we'll have another comment in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, and Cova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. You can trust their team of agents to develop a strategy that's just right for you. And it's not just X's and O's. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
Now, the officials have been talking for quite some time.
Alrighty, let's see what they have to say. Upon further review, there is no penalty on the play. However, we have conferred and discovered that Bob, the line judge, has saved a boatload for his kids' college using Ohio's 529 plan. It is tax-free, accepted nationwide. Bob recommends we all go to collegeadvantage.com. First down.
Well, that's not entirely unexpected.
Classic Bob.
At Ohio State, we are the never afraid to innovate teams and the improve people's lives teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
On the subject of size, Jake, Ivan Yugovin, a guy that he grew an inch during the offseason, but he also seems to be a much more confident basketball player out there.
Yeah, I think he's moving better. He's gotten more athletic and more mobile, and in addition to getting stronger, I think now he's got to get used to his kind of new frame and utilize that strength on the defensive side a little bit better. But his touch has gotten significantly better. We've seen that with his efficiency, and he's going to play an important role for us this year. He's got to continue to grow.
Is his touch all around the court a good thing?
Yeah. I mean, we want, most of his volume to be near the rim, but with time and space, when he's in a rhythm, he's got some freedom there beyond the three-point line, certainly.
Okay, this is the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Toyota-thon is on, and there's no better way to get in the spirit of the season than with a new Toyota. Now through December 1st, get 4.75 APR financing on any remaining new 25 RAV4 or RAV4 hybrid. Or lease a new gas-powered RAV4 LE for $289 a month for 39 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS, tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
'Tis the season to be hungry at Roosters. That's why for every $50 spent on Roosters gift cards, you'll receive a $10 Rooster Buck back in your stocking. May your holidays be filled with friends and family, love and laughter, and of course, Roosters Wings. Go to roosterswings.com today or drop by any Roosters location to purchase your $50 holiday gift cards and receive a $10 Rooster Buck in return. Happy holidays from all of us at Roosters. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS.
Donate your car today. Hurry! It's our last chance to donate for 2025.
Timmy Hall here, proud to be back for my 4th year supporting Nationwide Children's Hospital and Light Up the Lawn, Light Up a Life. The holidays can be tough for kids and families spending it in the hospital. So now through December 31st, more than 100 giant illuminated butterflies will shine on the hospital lawn, each one sparkling to life with every single donation. When patients see those butterflies glow, they'll know their community's thinking of them, sending waves of hope and joy. So let's do this together. Let's light up the lawn and light up a life. Donate now at nationwidechildrens.org/give.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Bo knows many people. He talks to the interesting ones on this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
And following the breaking news of the day, Brian Hartline, Ohio State offensive coordinator, headed to South Florida to be the Bulls' new head coach. Ohio State with a press conference coming up at noon that was intended to be about National Signing Day, but now this will be sprinkled in as well. All of that as the backdrop for a little thing or not a thing. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Speaking with Sirius XM College on Tuesday, Texas head coach Steve Sarkisian stumped for his team to make the college football playoff and cast some doubt on their Week 2 game in 2026.
4 of those games are against top 10 ranked teams in America. That other teams have played an entire schedule, still haven't played 4, never mind 3. Most of them played 2, 1, or none. And we go 3-1 in those games. And so to me, that's my point. And I get it. We scheduled Ohio State. We went and played that game. We lose 14-7. We get stopped inside the 5-yard line twice on 2 4th downs. We outgain them by nearly 200 yards. We lose 14-7. We lost the game. But they've beaten every other team they played on their schedule by 3 scores. And so at that point, it's like, why do we even play that game? Because if we're a 6-2 team, if we're a 10-2 team right now that played 4 top 10 ranked opponents with 3 wins still in the top 10, we're not even having a discussion right now. We're probably ranked 6th in the country in the CFP. We're not having a discussion. So my point is, why the hell am I going to play that game next year? For what? What good does it do me?
The Longhorns will host Ohio State Saturday, September 12th of 2025. Or 6, excuse me. Thing or not a thing.
It's all a true thing. He's 100% right. If he plays anybody else other than Ohio State in Week 1 and they win and he's 10-2, he's sitting in the exact same spot that Oklahoma is. In fact, he's ahead of Oklahoma. You know why? Because they beat Oklahoma. They beat them. Now, you could push back and say, well, beat Florida. Florida sucks. Should have beat Florida, right? Okay, fine. But he also has, this is the real truth of it. When you play the non-conference and you lose it, you also lose your margin for error because we still look at wins and losses most. And I understand that you have to, but I understand his gripe as well. And the thing that I hate most about this is what he just said out loud is coming because there is no value, especially in that league where they only have 16 teams in the conference. There is no value from them playing these type of games in the future. It's just been proven out. He's right. If he played anybody other than Ohio State, Texas is in the playoff, and we're not even having to talk about it. So he's 100% right on that.
Remember when we talked about an expanded playoff and we were like, man, we're going to get so much better regular season matchups than we ever did before because there's going to be some leeway and they're going to play them. Well, we've obviously seen that's not the case, that these teams are cowards and they're going to do whatever they can to get in the playoff, and that makes sense, right? You want to get into the playoff. So they're not going to play these games. We've seen Indiana cancel games. Sark's talking about this. My opposition to this is, though, 1, beat Florida. Win the games you're supposed to win. Like Ohio State could have easily lost to a team or 2 they shouldn't have this year. But they didn't. They won their games. Indiana, they won their games. I don't know what would happen if Texas played Indiana, but Indiana has won their games. Also, we talk about all the time we want to expand these playoffs. How about these regular season games or playoff games? And I understand it was a long time ago, but they lost to Ohio State to open the season. They lost to Georgia about a month ago. So there's your playoff. You had your chance and you lost. Like, to me, I hate that we talk about, we lost to these good teams. Our losses are real better. Well, yeah, you lost to them. Why is it going to be different this time? And also, I just keep going back to beat Florida. There's no way Texas should have lost to Florida ever, period.
No, but he beat Oklahoma. And they're in and he's out.
Which makes the Florida loss even dumber.
Sure, but I think he's right in that sense. I'm with you. I hate 12 teams. I hate 16. I think 8. I thought 4 was good. Hell, I'd go back to 2. Honestly, I think I'm fine with that. But at the same time, what is going to happen is none of these teams are going to play anybody because there's no point in doing it. There isn't. And when you lose the Ohio State game, you're penalized by your margin for error going away. And yeah, they lost to a bad Florida team. That's unexcusable. But he also has a team that's ranked 5 spots ahead of him, he's got a head-to-head, and they beat the brakes off of Oklahoma. And I know Johnny Mateer was freshly back, but that's Oklahoma's choice.
We've complained a lot about what Tony Petitti has done in some of this, and rightfully so. But the one good thing that they did do was they have forced the SEC to play 9 conference games now. And I believe the agreement is that they're all going to play 1 Power 4 out of conference as well. So we'll at least get the 1 game. Then the other 3 are going to be garbage and cupcakes, but at least we're going to see the 1 game outside of the conference games.
Dude, the Big Ten has cupcakes built in. We played 3 conference games in November. We were favored by 30 in every one. Georgia did not have any of those games. Bama didn't have any of those games. Purdue, Rutgers, UCLA, trash.
We had talked about in the committee's penultimate rankings how Ole Miss jumped a spot, and that was mostly because of Texas A&M's 4-spot drop. But Lane Kiffin announced yesterday that he's going to let Charlie Weiss Jr. coach Ole Miss in the CFP. In a statement from Kiffin, and I'm going to try not to laugh when I read this, quote, "With the playoff committee releasing updated rankings tonight, I wanted it to be known that after conversations with LSU, we are allowing Charlie to return to Ole Miss to coach the team during the playoffs. I've already made the committee aware of this decision and hopes it will allow Ole Miss to receive the highest ranking possible." End quote. Thing or not a thing?
Huge thing. Do we know if Ole Miss is accepting him back? Are they going to let him do it?
I think they released a graphic with their coaches on it.
Yes, he is on their list for the CFP coaching staff.
I was curious if Ole Miss was going to allow him to do it.
Why would you let this if you're Ole Miss? You didn't let Kiffin.
I wouldn't either.
Kiffin chose them over you. Why is Charlie Weiss Jr. any different? He chose. Whether Lane forced it on him or not, he chose to go. He didn't have to. So why do you want him back and not the head coach?
I agree. I thought the same thing. That's why I was curious if Ole Miss would allow it. Hell, have Eli Manning call ball plays. Bring him back to do it.
People probably watch more with him doing that.
I don't know if you
Charlie
saw
Weiss Jr.
yesterday, but Kiffin claimed that someone tried to run him off the road in Oxford after the news, and Eli Manning sent out a tweet saying, "Oh, sorry about that."
That was funny. Also saw the Ole Miss players going at him, disputing what he said about I wanted to coach, or they all want me to coach, all of that. Obviously, there's a lot going on, and we'll continue to wrap our heads around all of it. We're going to kick it off a little, hey, guys, while keeping our eye on, of course, the news of the day. Offensive coordinator Brian Hartline to South Florida as the head coach of the Bulls. Final hour coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The 2 most mature people working at the radio station. And that's just because they wear pants. The pervert and the skivvies. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan.
Dormar, you're kind of hero. When your furnace or air conditioner is broke, we come out that same day. Dormar, home the Tin Man.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
One of the biggest reasons people get new windows, Wilson, is that old windows make for an uncomfortable house with crazy high roller coaster energy bills.
Leslie, people love being uncomfortable on roller coasters. The ups, the downs, the gurgling in your stomach because you had 5 corn dogs before getting on.
Did that happen to you, Wilson?
What? No.
Get the windows that can completely change the look and feel of your home at PellaColumbus.com.
It's the year-end sales event with the Ford crew.
It's sales event time, Sam.
Temperatures are dropping, but the deals are just getting hot.
Time for our annual Ford Holiday Gift Guide.
Oh, yeah.
Hard to go wrong with great deals on trucks and SUVs from Ford, America's all-time best-selling auto brand.
Don't forget the first rule of holiday gift giving, Hank.
What's that, Sam?
Always remember to treat yourself, too.
Well said.
Based on Automotive News Almanac historical data and industry-reported sales data from 1909 through 2024 CY.
Gift big this year with a Home for the Holidays raffle. You have a chance to win a beautiful new custom home or cash prize this holiday season. And help make wishes come true for Make-A-Wish kids with critical illnesses. Raffle proceeds benefit Make-A-Wish OKI, which has granted over 22,000 wishes to children facing critical illnesses across the Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana region since 1983. This year's house was built by 3 Pillar Homes in the Evans Farm community in Lewis Center and has 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and a 2-car garage. It also includes amazing features like upstairs laundry, 2 covered patios, 1 with a fire pit, a great bedroom with fireplace, mudroom with extended bench seat and open lockers, kitchen and morning room. One lucky winner will be announced on December 24th, so get your $100 ticket now. Just visit ahomefortheholidayscolumbus.org to buy your tickets. That's ahomefortheholidayscolumbus.org. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, I'm Laura De Leon, president of Key Bank in Central Ohio. Here at Key, we believe in providing a helping hand in our community. While helping hands are wonderful, a helping bank is even better. That's a bank committed to solving people's financial needs, but it doesn't stop there. We advocate, we support, we listen, and we volunteer. That's a bank that is always ready to meet you in the moment. Key Bank opens doors.
Key Bank, member FDIC.
Oh, hey, welcome to gift wrapping. Whoa, Zoe Saldana.
Hey, can you wrap these, please?
Wow, iPhone 17s. You splurged.
At T-Mobile, you can get 4 iPhone 17s on them. The new center stage front camera is amazing for group selfies. It's the perfect gift for everyone.
I'm the worst. I only got my mom a robe.
Well, it's better than socks.
So I have to trade in my old phone, right?
No, at T-Mobile, there's no trade-ins needed when you switch. Keep your old phone or give it as a gift.
Incredible.
In fact, wrap up my old phone too for my Aunt Rosa. Forget that. Aunt Liz will be jealous.
Sounds like my family. Drama.
Oh, I got it. I'll give it to my abuela. I'll take reindeer paper with, hey, where are you going?
To T-Mobile.
The holidays are better at T-Mobile. Get 4 iPhone 17s on us. No trade-in needed when you switch. Plus 4 lines for just $25 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 4 eligible port-ins on essentials for well-qualified customers. Auto pay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge credits and imbalance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 256 gigabytes, $830 required. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Skyline's Mac and Cheese 3-Way is back. This time with white cheddar cheese and creamy cavatappi pasta. Try a Mac and Cheese 3-Way with Skyline's original chili or their new chicken chili at participating Skyline locations for a limited time.
Dormar, you're kind of hero. Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Ohio State offensive coordinator Brian Hartline will be the next head coach at South Florida. It's reportedly a 6-year deal for the 39-year-old Hartline, who will stay on at Ohio State as the Buckeyes look to make a run through the college football playoff. OSU's postseason run begins Saturday in Indianapolis against number 2 Indiana for the Big Ten Championship. Kickoff from Lucas Oil Stadium's 8 o'clock. We'll have Ryan Day live today at noon for a scheduled signing day press conference. The early signing period is open. This morning, 4-star receiver Caden Dixon-Wyatt flipped his commitment from Ohio State to Southern California. The Trojans currently have the number 1 class in the 26th cycle. Ohio State's ranked 5th. 5-star OSU commit Chris Henry Jr., another Mater Dei receiver, is yet to sign his letter of intent. This update sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call Mark Levy's office at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP, or visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com.
Pull up a stool and ask the bartender for something neat, because Uncle Bo is on the radio. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, you just heard it there from Reese. News of the day on National Signing Day, nonetheless. Ohio State offensive coordinator Brian Hartline heading to South Florida, where he will be the head coach there. There are a billion layers to this thing. We've been talking about it for the better part of an hour, and we'll continue to get you updated. There's a press conference on campus up at Ohio State. That's happening at noon. It was previously scheduled as a National Signing Day press conference, one that they have every year. And so that is happening. And yes, all of this is happening while you're competing for a Big Ten championship and all the rest of it. I mean, it's just so absurd. But this is where you are. And so as things start to happen on that front, or if there are comments, we will keep you posted on all of that. And my guess is what we're about to do now, we'll have some questions about this. Time for a little, hey, guys. Hit it, guys.
Nothing is off limits. Your participation is required. Just use the hashtag #HeyGuys and ask anything you want. Do it now.
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery Co. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank Distillery Co. Learn more at highbankco.com.
Hey, Reese, real quick before you get to our Hey Guys.
Sure.
It looks like Chris Henry Jr. has put pen to paper. And he will be a Buckeye.
Yeah, which paper?
He will be a Buckeye.
Man. Like, we're on pins and needles, Bacon. I got you setting us up like this?
It seems like what it's going to be. It seems like Chris Henry Jr. will be a Buckeye.
So this is a First Friday and we'll have the officially endorsed. Might need to be like in a giant Yeti. Like I know you usually do it in a glass or something specific, but maybe like a Yeti tumbler is what you're going to want to put the drink in tonight.
Have you ever ordered 9 fingers of High Bank? Like that might be what's required here. The winner here, by the way, our great friends at High Bank, the $50 gift card, free distillery tour, tasting up to 10. It's some of the best blended whiskey in America, 3 years running. It's right here in town. 3 locations, Grandview, Gahanna, and Westerville. Enjoy those award-winning spirits and a massive announcement with us and them coming next week that we're very, very excited about. So look forward to that in the coming days. Go ahead, Reese.
We'll start on Twitter with Snagglepuss. Emergency, hey guys, do you think Hartline is going to take a certain linebacker coach to become his DC?
I'm sure he'll ask. Obviously, I know that certain linebacker coach pretty well. And he's the one who, the first time I ever heard anybody say, what's your why? And you're always going to be interested in all those things. You're going to hear everything out. I think he really loves Central Ohio. I think he really loves being at Ohio State. He tried a version of this at Notre Dame and came back, and my hunch is that he ain't going anywhere. But you never know. And I do think that there will certainly be, if you're Brian Hartline, you're trying to put a staff together. You're going to hire the folks that you know. And that will be probably a part of it. So I'm guessing there will be some guys and some assistant position coaches and stuff like that, assistant recruiting coordinators, stuff like that, who probably will be poached and will follow with him down to USF. But again, this speaks to just how awful all of this is because of the timing, that this all has to happen now. And now you're going to have to deal with things that you'd rather not have to deal with, which is, for Ohio State, this should have minimal damage in terms of, you do have the 3 weeks before you're going to have to play again. Some of these other teams are playing again in 2 weeks. Like being the 1 seed or the 4 seed, and they're going to be the 1, has a nice advantage in that you're not going to have to worry about playing a game on December 20th.
There are few things in life where I'm like, oh yeah, that's a guarantee. Like there's 100%, no way. So I'm not going to say 100%, and I don't know James like you do, Bo.
Yeah.
There's no way he's leaving Ohio State to go to USF. I don't know how much longer Matt Patricia is going to be here. For Buckeye fans, it'd be great if he was here for a little while. But if Matt Patricia does leave Ohio State after this season or next season, I would have to think that some combination of James Laurinaitis, Tim Walton, and Matt Guerreri is the defensive coordinator at Ohio State.
Yeah.
So I just don't. I believe this is where James wants to be. I believe this is where he always wanted to be. I believe he had to go be with his best friend, Marcus, at Notre Dame for a couple years to get to where he wanted to be. But I don't believe James is going anywhere.
I think if he wants to be, whenever Ryan leaves, I think he'd be the head coach at Ohio State.
I've kind of felt that way too.
I think if he wants that.
And if that's what he wants, that may be the one reason he would leave again, is to go be a head coach somewhere to get experience, they then come back. But
I don't think he'd have to.
Nick asks on Twitter, hey guys, with the coaching carousel almost complete, who's the first job to get fired next year? And would you take that job? Also, Hugh Freeze back to Auburn to complete the carousel with the circus.
So, in other words, what he's asking is who has the hottest seat for next year. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go straight up north to that team up north. I think it's Sharon Moore at Michigan. They put a lot of money into that roster. They have a really nice signing day class. They paid a lot for that quarterback. If Michigan doesn't have a big year next year, I think the seat will get very, very hot for Sharon Moore. Very hot.
Bo, you took the words right out of my mouth. I've always said Sharon Moore was hired to be the fall guy, and he'll be the fall guy.
All right, I'll ask this one out of the YouTube chat. Despite him leaving a loaf of snow on the roof of his car yesterday, Phil, hey guys, do you have any good backyard football stories? He says nothing better than neighborhood snow bowl during Christmas break, or probably yesterday.
Well, we were a little rural, so we weren't having backyard football games much. I wasn't really introduced to like the snow bowl. We used to do a turkey bowl in college all the time, which was really fun. I enjoyed that a great deal. I love a snow bowl game with the boys, like especially when NBC wasn't as big as me. I really enjoyed that, throwing them into drifts. But now it's the point where he's damn near as big, and he could probably do that to me. So I'm not going to probably do that anytime soon. It's pretty undefeated, really. to just go pitch and catch the ball around, especially if the wind's not blowing and it's not too cold. I mean, it's about as much fun as you can have.
That may be the most persistent Hey Guys question in the history of Hey Guys, because I think Phil has asked that in some form or iteration for the past month now, asking about backyard football games. I have two that come to mind to me. I remember we would always used to go over to my grandma's on New Year's Day. The whole family would be in town, and we would watch, and sometimes it would be warm enough to go out back and play a little football. And I'm pretty sure my Uncle Mike did this on purpose, but when you're 5 or 6 years old, you don't realize it, and it was funny. He was throwing to all of us kids, and he bent over to get into the huddle, and there was a rose bush there, and he acted like the thorn stuck him, and and he played it up, and I'm pretty sure he was doing that on purpose. It wasn't natural, but that was funny. I also remember playing at my cousin's one time in the street, and somebody threw a pass, and my cousin went to catch it and ran straight into the mailbox and about knocked himself out.
Jeez.
Yeah, I had a couple good stories from playing snowball games, but we were really stupid as kids, and when we'd go sledding, we'd take a football and we'd try to fit it in as whoever was on the sled, either if they were kneeling or sometimes they were standing, as they were making it down the end of the hill. And then we built a ramp.
Perfect.
You could see how that went, trying to throw a football to a guy on a sled coming off a snow ramp.
We were allowed to play full contact football at school, at recess. They can't do that now. They can't tackle. They can't do any of it. But we played full contact. We played full contact football at recess every day.
We used to do that before middle school, out in front of the school every morning before school started.
Yeah, right. Now that's all outlawed. Can't do it.
Josh asks on Twitter, hey guys, what's the best Christmas gift you've ever received? The holy crap, oh my God, I can't believe I just got this gift.
USS Flag G.I. Joe aircraft carrier.
Was that for you on everybody's list? All your friends?
Everybody wanted it. I don't know how Santa Claus was able to do it. I guess he got the elves to work. They crushed it. And that defied logic. Because I was the only one me and my brothers were the only one who had it. My young middle brother were the only ones who had it among our friend group. I don't know how the magic of Santa Claus, kids. The USS Flag.
I think to me, the ones are the ones as you get older that have a lot of thought or meaning into them. Somebody got me a collage picture of things that I had done while I was working in broadcasting. Different things there, action shots of me doing things. And then somebody got me a shadow box for all of my press passes, and they took a bunch of them and put them in there. So things like that are pretty cool, and the ones that I remember the most that have special meaning.
I don't know if either of you have seen the video of the kid opening a Nintendo 64 and then him screaming at the top of his lungs, a Nintendo 64, but I had a similar reaction.
Yeah.
Unwrapping a Nintendo 64 and Super Mario 64.
So cool. So cool.
We got one we'll go to the YouTube chat for this one. The Face of Ohio asks, hey guys, the elf on the shelf is back. What's the craziest thing you've seen done with the elves?
I mean, our elf is a nut, and he shows up miraculously every morning. He's repelled. I mean, he has apparently he's got all sorts of activities and various outfits that he has access to. It's magical. Really magical.
So I've never done an elf on the shelf, not having kids.
How would you? He comes from the North Pole. What do you think you have to do with it?
I will say this.
I mean, when you have children, or you claim the children you have running around Central Ohio, then perhaps you'll show up.
I will say this: the fan must have some illegitimate children out there, because there's an elf on the shelf out here. I can actually see it if I turn. And look to my right, it's just kind of hanging there.
Yeah.
And as Reese pointed out, it almost looks like an Auschwitz victim. The way it's hanging up there. So it looks like it's going through some kind of torture, this poor elf on the shelf.
Poor thing. Well, hopefully he goes back to the North Pole tonight and comes back in a better spot.
I hope its name is Fanny.
We'll go. We got to pick a winner.
There's so much going on, I wasn't even remembering the names. Do you guys have one that jumps out?
I liked Zachary's.
Okay. Sold.
Yes.
Deal. You're the big winner in the bar tonight, Zachary, on an absolutely bat-blank crazy First Friday. You get the $50 gift card to our great friends at High Bank, the free distillery tour and the tasting for up to 10. Home of the best blended whiskey in America, 3 years running, the best vodka in the world. That happened last month. Make your reservations at highbankco.com. Drink local, drink High Bank. Coming up next, we circle back on the news of the day. Brian Hartline to USF, a big recruit, nevertheless decided to sign on the line, which is dotted. We'll get to all of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Men, it's the holidays, a time of love and joy. But if you suffer from erectile dysfunction, the season can be tough on you. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if you and your partner are experiencing struggles because of ED, change it up this year. Give the best gift you can give to the one you love by treating your ED and restoring your relationship. At Tri-State Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED, and as a Promedic restorative health practice, we've literally seen countless thousands of relationships renewed across the nation. Plus, with treatments having success rates well over 90%, coupled with many treatment options, we can likely find the right one for you. You may even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call us and give your partner the best gift you can give this season. A renewed, restored relationship. Your first visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in our office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 2 convenient locations in the area to serve you in Hilliard and Westerville.
Things are going to be busy between now and the end of the year. You got holiday gatherings, school functions for the kids, families are getting together. I know. Hey, it's Timmy Hall, and the last thing you want to worry about this holiday season is whether your roof is going to make it through another Ohio winter. One call to Victor's Home Solutions, my guys, to schedule that free 21-point roof inspection will put your mind at ease, and you want to have a peaceful mind. A highly trained roof inspector will carefully examine every inch of that roof, checking the 21 most common areas of roofing failure. Then they go over their results with you and discuss your options going forward. Most of the time, problems can be fixed with a minor repair, but if it's time for a new roof, Victor's offers money-saving discounts and financing terms to make paying easy. And don't forget, they're so confident in their skilled installers, they offer a 50-year leak-free guarantee on every roof they install. So call or go online and schedule the free 21-point roof inspection today. 866-VICTORS or online at victors.com.
Looking for bold flavors and award-winning spirits? High Bank Distillery is your destination for handcrafted cocktails, locally inspired dishes, and Whiskey War, the nationally recognized whiskey. Stop by their Grandview, Gahanna, and Westerville locations this week. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
Timmy Hall and, real common man here for our friends at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
We've got plenty of holiday specials for you this month. You can enjoy a 4-course wine dinner at the lounge at Final Cut. Plus, there's holiday takeout specials.
And we got happenings on New Year's Eve.
What's happening?
Winning. You could win a 2026 Chevy Traverse, $35,000 in cash, or $50,000 in Penn slot play.
Become a member of our rewards program on the Penn Play app and get a $20 dining credit.
It's all going down this month at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's playoff time. Who will the Buckeyes play? Where will they play? Let's find out together. Join Dom Taberi, Timmy Hall, Nicole Sheeran, and Dean Sanzenbacher for Chasing the Championship.
Sunday at noon on 10 TV Plus and the Fans YouTube.
Skyline's mac and cheese 3-way is back. This time with white cheddar cheese and creamy cavatappi pasta. Try a mac and cheese 3-way with Skyline's original chili or their new chicken chili at participating Skyline locations for a limited time.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, rental portfolios. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Hey, for Central Ohio, I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Michael Behrens with your latest forecast. We're looking at quiet weather today, but cold. We'll see temperatures this afternoon into the low 30s, but some sunshine will come through. A little bit of light snow early Thursday, but then we drop to single digits by early Friday. That's your latest 10 Weather Impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
The radio couldn't contain us, so we've taken over YouTube. Catch Morning Juice weekday mornings at 6 by searching 971 The Fan. Do it. Keep your friends close and your producers closer. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, I'm going to try to make sense of everything that's going on. Today is National Signing Day. It snuck up, I think, on a lot of folks because it's a little earlier than it has been in recent years. But today is National Signing Day, so folks are putting their classes together. National Signing Day, if you've been following this for a long time or enjoyed recruiting or program building or any of these things, this has been the usual suspects for a long time at the top of the sport. It's been Ohio State, Georgia, Bama. Those have been the premium programs when it comes to recruiting. And to the surprise of absolutely nobody, those programs have kind of run the sport over the last decade plus, and for simple reasons, because they have the most talent and they are well coached and all of those things, and there's culture and all of that. Well, where we are now, a couple of years into this NIL situation that we're in, is kind of a Wild West on National Signing Day, where you have, at the end of the day, incredible offers being made to these kids to get them to flip their standing from one place to the next. And what you have on National Signing Day is a National Signing Day that has the top 5 classes being USC, Oregon 1 and 2, Alabama 3, Notre Dame 4, Georgia 5, and Ohio State 6. Now, beyond that, though, there's even some more things that are absolutely wild. And yes, we're going to get to the Hartline part of all of this in just a second. If you haven't been following along, we'll update you on that. The consensus number one player in the 24/7 composite is a quarterback from Texas who's signing at Houston. The number 2 player is a quarterback from North Carolina. He's going to Tennessee. The number 3 player, Jared Curtis, had been committed to Georgia the entire process and flipped his commitment to Vanderbilt. So the chaos that we always have had on this day is amplified tenfold because of everything else that is going on around the sport. One of the things that's going on around the sport is that Brian Hartline is headed to South Florida to be the new head coach of the South Florida Bulls. Brian interviewed for the West Virginia job a couple of years ago. I think this follows very similarly to the path that Tom Herman took to Houston. Of course, Tom was a GA. He had great Texas roots, and he was a GA at Texas. And that was a program that was in very good shape when he took it over, and he won there, and he parlayed that into both Texas and LSU offering their job. And those are 2 of the 6 best jobs in the country, Texas and LSU. And he got his pick, and he went to Texas, and it flamed out. It didn't work, but the opportunity and the path was the right one. I think the same is true for Luke Fickell, who did not take certain jobs in the MAC and waited for a job that he could have success at in a location that he knew how to recruit, in a city that he knew very well. And he went to Cincinnati, and he took him to a college football playoff at Cincinnati. Now, all of that defies logic as to why he went to Wisconsin, because I don't know that he saw the forest through the trees on that one. But the Cincinnati move made all the sense in the world. I think the same is true for Brian. South Florida is in a really good spot, ironically enough, because Dublin Scioto graduate and former Buckeye GA Alex Golish has him in a really nice spot. So he is going to go into a very good spot in a part of the country that he knows very, very well. And this was a necessary step for Brian. I'm connecting dots here. This isn't scores, but my hunch is this was a necessary move for Brian to be able to be taken seriously at the very top of the sport for head coaching jobs. This is a jump to trying to get to that point. It could be an NFL jump, who knows? But at some point, if you are the offensive coordinator at Ohio State, and most of the offensive credit goes to Ryan, you have to prove yourself somewhere else before you can go to Big State U. You can win at USF. You can win a lot. You can recruit there. You can win there. Folks have done it. Jim Leavitt basically developed the program out of the clear blue sky in 1997, and in relatively short order was pretty competitive. You can recruit there. It's a massive alumni base. I don't know it well enough to know like if they've got a bunch of billionaire guys who they can help with NIL and that type of stuff. But their proximity to talent is elite in the Tampa Bay area. So you're going to be able to recruit Tampa Bay. You're going to be able to recruit Central Florida. And obviously Brian will dip his toe in South Florida, where not only did he live as a member of the Miami Dolphins, but is recruited at a very, very high level in South Florida here. He will not try to recruit the best and the best of the sport. That's not going to be the roadmap for him there. It will rather be to get the number 2 receiver at St. Thomas Aquinas and those type of places. And if you do that, that's plenty good enough to win at a very, very high clip. So all of that is happening. Did I mention Chris Henry in all of that?
No. He signed with Ohio State.
He signed.
So number 1 receiver in the class is good. And you had mentioned like the second wide receiver at St. Thomas Aquinas. Well, the second wide receiver at Mater Dei was Caden Dixon-Wyatt, who flipped to USC. The Trojans have 30-plus commitments in this class and are probably going to sign all of them. Now, what's Lincoln Riley's tenure like at USC? To where if he gets dismissed next year, because his seat's going to have some decent heat to it in 2026, at least it should. Yeah. I look at with what Brian can do and what Brian's done on the recruiting trail throughout the country with some of the best wide receivers in the country. If they get into a situation like a Caden Dixon-Wyatt at USC, and then it's the coaching staff's dismissed, where does he maybe end up? Someone with ties he's already established, right? That's how this happens with the transfer portal. So I guess I say all of that to say you can do it at a quicker rate. Because Golish was at USF for 3 seasons. He won 7 games his first year, 7 games his second, 9-3 this past year. Yeah. Had them knocking at the door of the college football playoff by virtue of being, at others' receiving votes are in the AP top 25. So you can use the recruiting at a high school in South Florida and the transfer portal guys looking for their second landing spot to really propel yourself in short order to a Power 5 job.
I mean, I thought about Lincoln right away, right?
Yeah.
I have no idea what South Florida's quarterback situation is, but I thought about Lincoln right away.
Somebody
a layup
tweeted that to us too, saying they hoped Lincoln went with him. He'd get a chance to play, and he would be able to play well there and have a decent stage.
Yeah. You mentioned the other wide receiver at Mater Dei who decided to go to USC. I don't think that was a surprise for anybody. Bake, I think you mentioned this earlier. Caden Gebhardt, who had been committed to Clemson, local kid, he did flip. He is now going to Ohio State. He's at Olentangy?
Yeah, he was at Olentangy, and his teammate on that Olentangy defense, CJ Santa, signed with Ohio State earlier this morning. So that makes a little sense that he would do that. And the other one that I talked about, there was a cornerback committed to Florida that Ohio State was supposedly working hard on trying to flip to.
Yeah, it's all the while, we talked about this earlier in the show, at Penn State, your rival, one of your rivals, although they don't see it that way, they are without a head coach. They have 4 commits in their class. They do not have a head coach. They lost out on Kalani Sitake, the head coach at BYU, because the founder of Crumble Cookies decided to throw a bunch of money at him, so he decided to stay at BYU. And by the way, kind of stuck it in their face, like he was doing the Barstool shows this morning. Like he was really selling BYU after seemingly going a long way down the road with Penn State up until late last night when the Crumble Cookie guy got involved in all of this. And yes, this is all real. You may say to yourself out there listening, this isn't the sport. No. All of this stuff is happening. So much so that James Franklin, who was fired by Penn State, is now the head coach at Virginia Tech, has stolen many of the Penn State commits that he had originally committed to Penn State, are now going to Virginia Tech. James Franklin is serving Crumble cookies at the Virginia Tech press conference down in Blacksburg, and Crumble also delivered boxes of cookies to in front of the Penn State athletic department building.
Oh.
This is the best sport.
Come on. You kidding me with this?
Served cold.
What else are you going to do? I mean, like when Jake was we had Jake Trotter on early. He's like, I don't know if I like any of this. I'm like, look, if I was in it, like if I was working in a football program, no, I wouldn't like it either. But we're in the content business, kids. And this stuff, you can't write this stuff. There's no way to do it. It's that chaotic. So it seems like the Buckeye signing class is coming into focus. We will update you on that. We did have that story that we didn't have a chance to dip back on, which was Ryan talking about the communications on the sideline. Jake Trotter got a statement from Michigan on that, so that'll only continue to stoke those flames. So we'll get to all of that. Continue following the Brian Hartline news as he has taken a job at South Florida to be the head coach of the Bulls. Very busy first Friday here, kids. We're 2 minutes away. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 1-877-CARS for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Hurry! It's our last chance to donate for 2025.
Would you enjoy watching a football game if the officials were paid a bonus for every flag they threw? Or a basketball game where the refs got paid for every foul they called? Okay, how about hiring a furnace and AC company that pays its technicians by the number of parts they can sell you? Hi, this is Dennis, president of Care Heating and Cooling, and today, this is how many companies operate. They call it performance pay, and it rewards technicians by paying them more for billing you more. Why is this bad? Because it abuses your trust in a technician to be treated fairly and honestly. At Care, we've been family-owned for 31 years and have always paid our technicians by the hour for repairs. We'll show you exactly what needs to be fixed and why, and give you our low upfront cost before we start. And unlike other companies, our technicians will never be rewarded for throwing more flags. Our Central Ohio-based staff is here for you 7 days a week. Care Heating and Cooling. Book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com or call us at 1-800-COOLING. When you need a company you can trust.
Feeling stuck on your own 10-yard line in the career game? Maybe it's time to just go for IT. My Computer Career has the game plan to score a rewarding new IT career in months. Whether you're a rookie, a breakout career changer, or a military veteran ready to serve. Why spend years chasing a college degree when you can fast-track your future in IT starting now? Take your mark, get set, go for IT. Take the free career evaluation at mycomputercareer.edu today. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
It's almost Football Friday. All play and no work.
Sponsored by Tansky Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for football, The Fan. Sports conversation that's worthy of a toast, or at least a stiff drink. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
I used to love this day, National Signing Day. I mean, this is Christmas in February for me. They just did the February National Signing Day. It was always that first Friday in February. There was all sorts of chaos that would come around it, and the guys would get signed, and it would be last-minute flips. A lot of the same stuff we're doing now, except now they're dealing with incredible amount of money on top of the table being offered. In those days, it was just under the table being offered. Now it's all above board. So a lot of these things are happening. Ohio State's class is ranked 6th in the country. It is 28 players in. The headliner of it is Chris Henry Jr., the number one receiver in the country. He has signed on the line, which is dotted. He is a modern-day product. He's obviously, his dad was an NFL player, was a great player. He's been a Buckeye for a long time. He will pair nicely opposite Jeremiah Smith next year. My goodness, with everything else they have in that room, that only adds to it. The rest of the class, there are a lot of Buckeye State representation here. I mean, this is kind of a little bit of a throwback. The highest rated one is Sincere Johnson, the linebacker out of Glenville. He is an absolute dude. Sam Greer out of Hoban, the tackle. First time I saw him was when him and Hoban beat Pick Central in the state championship game the year after Sonny left, and he basically just played bully ball. And that was Devin Royal was Mr. Ohio that year, and he just was impossible for them to deal with just because of his size, 6'7.5", 315, the big tackle out of there. We mentioned the flip that happened as well. Caden Gebhardt, the safety out of Olentangy, he flips from Clemson to Ohio State. Maxwell Riley out of Avon Lake, another Buckeye product. CJ Santa out of Olentangy, you mentioned that, Bake, earlier. He comes to Ohio State. You got Favor Akey, he comes from Delaware Hayes, so he stays. Lebanon, there's a ton. That's kind of the Mason Wilhelm. He's a legacy, so he comes in as well. Matt's son, Landry Beat out of Mentor. Just a ton of state of Ohio representation in this class. And I think when you take a step back and look at what's happened on signing day, I already talked about the best players in the country. One of the quarterbacks went to Houston. Another one went to Vanderbilt after being a Georgia commit. Like basically what's happened, not basically, what's happening right now in the sport is who can give me the most? And you got to give the kid, and you got parents wanting money. I mean, there's a million factors in this. So I think this is a really dicey time in all of this. I would not want to be a coach in college football dealing with all of this stuff and the calendar and the timelines and the money and all of it. But this is the business that they have chosen. And for our purposes, it's fascinating. It's a massive departure from the way signing day typically is in terms of the haves continue to be the haves. Now the haves are really spread out. Even if you look at the top 25 players in the country, it's not like 6 of them are going to Ohio State or Georgia. That's just not the case anymore.
And for the class rankings, Ohio State right now 6th in the 2026 cycle. The average, and Bo, you pointed this out a couple of years ago, I think the most important thing to look for is Ohio State with a 91.99 rating average. The top team, USC with 35 commits, 91.80 is their average. And you've got Oregon, Alabama, Notre Dame, Georgia, 2 through 5 there. And the funniest thing to me is you have fan bases out there that still put Ohio State and put the money that Ohio State spent on their roster like it's a bad thing. And all of those classes I just mentioned, all of those schools, I'll go to 7 for Texas, 8 Tennessee, 9 Texas A&M, 10 Miami, 11 Michigan, are spending, if not as much as Ohio State, probably more on these recruiting classes. It's everywhere now.
Yeah, and I mean, here's a great example of this. So this just happened, the beloved Ponies. There's a 4-star interior offensive lineman named Samulu Utu is his name, all right? He had been committed to Alabama for a long time, and today on National Signing Day, he's going to SMU. I mean, that doesn't happen in the old days, but now with NIL and pay for play, which is exactly what's happening, this is now regular. That's how a quarterback ends up at Houston. One of the Houston's biggest boosters is Tillman Fertitta, who's the owner of the Houston Rockets, among other things. And if at any point Houston decides that he wants them to be great at football, that's what they can do, and that's how they got the quarterback. And by the way, this is all above board.
Bo,
don't whine about it. This is what it is.
There was another example of it here that just happened in the last 15 minutes, too. Purdue just flipped a really good 4-star safety, Jed Goldsberry. He'd been committed to Ole Miss for a while. Now he's going to Purdue, and most people would think, well, man, would you rather go to Ole Miss than Purdue? And maybe some of that was Lane Kiffin. But I'm sure Purdue came in with a very nice chunk of change for him, saying, hey, we need to get this kid. He's an in-state kid. Let's go do that. I love, Bo, as you mentioned, kind of a throwback. That Ohio State is kind of locking down Ohio again and trying to get the best kids in Ohio while still getting the best nationally. Like we talk about Chris Henry Jr. Well, yeah, he finished out in California at Mater Dei, but he's a Cincinnati kid.
Yeah.
You know, he transferred out there for his last 2 years of football, but he's a Cincinnati kid. Obviously, his dad playing for the Bengals. He growing up there. I think it was Princeton that he went to before he left to go to Mater Dei. These linemen, you talk about Greer and Maxwell Riley from Avon and Mason Wilhelm from up at Lakewood St. Ed's, getting these. And Ohio State has a couple guys from Ohio right now on their offensive line that are playing some pretty good football for them. So I love that. Favor Akey, unfortunately, he lost most of his senior season this year due to an ankle injury that he suffered on the first play of the season. A lot of people compared him to a Bo Jackson type of player and a type of rise that he would have. So I love the Ohio guys. Now, you still got to go get the best players, right? You're not getting these guys if they're not really good players. But Ohio State is also continuing something that we've talked about this program. If money is your main motivator, this probably isn't the place for you.
Yeah, and we have the luxury to do that because of all of the things that Ohio State does for kids once they're here. You can't do that at Texas A&M. You can't do that at SMU. You can't do it at Tennessee. Like, you need to just pay the biggest amount to get the guys that you need. And, Reese, you brought up that stat that I always look to, which is the average player grade rating on the 24/7 composite. So Ohio State 5th in the country on that. LSU's number 1, 93.61, most talented player-by-player average class. They're number 1. Oregon is 2 with 93.23. Then Bama 92.98, Notre Dame 92.67, and then Ohio State 91.999, which is good for 5th overall. So that's the number that really matters, is are you getting the best possible players? Now, to give you an idea of how much it's changed, like typically in the old days, I feel like the ones that win that are in the 94s. Like there used to be a situation where you kind of hog all of the best players, you create these massive classes. That's not what we're seeing now. We're seeing things spread out throughout National Signing Day. Now, in terms of the Brian Hartline impact on all of this, obviously it will be massive, but for now, I don't know that it is much in terms of National Signing Day. It looks to me, and talking to folks that I trust, that the second receiver from Mater Dei, that they pushed chips in on him about a week ago, and that was very much expected that he was going to go in another direction. Henry was the one. I don't think they were nervous about it, but I understand how Buckeye fan was nervous about that. So that was the one that you really wanted to get in. In terms of how this will look for Brian, we've done this before. We did this with Tom Herman in 2014, where he was the head coach at Houston, and then he stayed on and won a national championship at Ohio State. Now, we did not have a portal then, and so that's a little different. Like, Brian is going to have to manage that when that comes in December, and manage that a little bit as he's trying to coach at Ohio State as well. But because, of course, Ryan made his bones as one of the brightest play callers in all of college football, he can just pick up some of that. And, oh, by the way, Chip Kelly's floating around. And I have no idea what Chip wants to do, but he's got a lot of money from the Raiders. And could I see Ryan calling him and say, hey, man, you want to come back for a month and help us out? I don't know if he wants to be the long-term coordinator again here, or would he want to come back for a month? Who knows? These are all just throwing stuff at the wall that makes sense and connecting some dots is what it is. It's not quite Pepe Sylvia. It's an educated version of that. But that's kind of where we are today on what has just been absolutely utter chaos. It has been, and it's been this way for about the last 6-7 days in the sport.
I wonder how much time they were given to, like, truly celebrate the Michigan win. Because not only, and I mean the coach, I'm sure the players, and I see like Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith out here wishing Brian Hartline well. And so I'm sure they've had the time, but like for the coaches, you're focused on Indiana. Oh, yeah, National Signing Day.
None.
Oh, yeah, the Hartline stuff. Because I'm sure during, the Sunday to Monday, now Tuesday into Wednesday, that coaches knew, or the coaching staff, Ryan Day, Mark Pantoni knew that Brian was taking his talents to Florida.
Certainly had to know it was a possibility because he would have had to interview for that job.
Right.
Now, Golish took the job at Auburn on Sunday morning, so that's your close timetable on that, Reese. To answer your question of how long they got to celebrate it, probably the 20 minutes that they were in the locker room and the several hours that they were delayed leaving Ann Arbor. And that's it. And for all of them, for the people who are boots on the ground in the sport, it's obviously broken. Like, it's completely broken. For the people boots on the ground. Like Mark Pantoni, who's going to talk in 19 minutes up there. For him, it's broken. I mean, this is a broken...
Do you think he slept?
No. No, it's ridiculous. I mean, can you imagine, like, some kid telling you, let's say he's been committed here, and I'm just making this up, but let's say you have some kid who's been committed here for a year, and then 24 hours before National Signing Day, he says, okay, I really like the $750,000 that you're offering me, but Texas Tech's offering me $1.1 million. Can you match it? Do you realize that you don't even have a way to verify if that offer's real? There's no way of knowing. There's no way of knowing what he's actually being offered. You have no idea. So they can't fact check any of it. I mean, that's just how nuts all of this is. All the while, go win a Big Ten championship in number 1 versus number 2 and then go compete for a national championship. I mean, there's not another sport on the planet that's as chaotic as this is at the moment. Selfishly, I love it because we're in the content business. And it just, I mean, we got Crumble Cookie founders delivering cookies to Penn State's athletic department. Like, you're not getting that anywhere else. You got Marty Smith driving around barricades to interview Lane Kiffin. Like, only in college football are things this chaotic. Get your officially endorsed, which my guess is many of you are going to need, and your 3 things coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Check off the wish list with instant savings and free battery offers on select steel tools. Shop online or in store.
The Daily Ryan Day Show is brought to you locally by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers and by Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse on the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
This is the Daily Show with Coach Ryan Day, brought to you by Safe Flat Auto Glass. When you look at your second half defense from last weekend's game in Ann Arbor, what were the things that really stood out with adjustments in the second half?
Well, I think the first thing was just, our defeating of blocks. I mean, you just see what some of these guys are doing, Sonny and Cade McDonald and KJ, Caden Curry, Arvell. I mean, we were getting our hands on people, Taiwan, getting off of blocks, and then everybody running to the football and playing fast. We really did a good job of containing the quarterback. Guys were sticky in coverage, and it was. I think the time of possession was 40-20, and I think the offense ran over 70 plays, and they only had 44 plays. So, I think when you take a look at just the second half in general, there was 4 possessions, and they didn't last very long, and just very, very efficient. And they hit a couple runs. They know what they're doing. They do a good job. But once we got over to the sideline, we got those things adjusted. The guys did a great job putting that on the field.
Okay, we'll have another comment in just a moment.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safe Light Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at SafeLight.com. Safe Light Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safe Light Repair, Safe Light Replace.
Buckeye fans, choose chill. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. It's got that crisp, refreshing taste that makes those moments when you choose to rise above the noise and choose chill even better. Coors Light is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, so crack one open and take a sip. Coors Light, choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado, beer.
Ryan, talk about your defense this past weekend. Was this as good an example of how complimentary all 3 levels were?
Yeah, it starts with the guys up front, and they have to establish the line of scrimmage, and then the linebackers are running the ball and their fits, and then you see how the safeties fit into that as well. Jalen McClain early on did a great job of getting a couple of those that split out on the ground, making them force the snap it one more time, help forcing some of those field goals. And then the one that Caleb had, that really, I think that was the final play of the first half for their running back, and then he ended up coming back later in the game. But it was a physical hit. He came down and really, met him at the line of scrimmage. So everybody's involved with it, and it all starts with a line of scrimmage where we're getting our hands on people, getting off of blocks and standing people up. The second level, filling the holes, running the ball, and being violent, which I felt like all 3 levels were solid in this game.
It's the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Oh, hey, welcome to gift wrapping. Whoa, Zoe Saldana.
Hey, can you wrap these, please?
Wow, iPhone 17s. You splurged.
At T-Mobile, you can get 4 iPhone 17s on them. The new center stage front camera is amazing for group selfies. It's the perfect gift for everyone.
I'm the worst. I only got my mom a robe.
Well, it's better than socks.
So I have to trade in my old phone, right?
No, at T-Mobile, there's no trade-ins needed when you switch. Keep your old phone or give it as a gift.
Incredible.
In fact, wrap up my old phone too for my Aunt Rosa. Forget that. Aunt Liz will be jealous.
Sounds like my family drama.
Oh, I got it. I'll give it to my abuela. I'll take reindeer paper with, hey, where are you going?
To T-Mobile! The holidays are better at T-Mobile. Get 4 iPhone 17s on us. No trade-in needed when you switch. Plus 4 lines for just $25 a line.
24 monthly bill credits and 4 eligible port-ins on essentials for well-qualified customers. Auto pay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge credits and imbalance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 256 gigabytes, $830 required. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The uncle you never knew you had. The friends you kind of wish you didn't. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, what do we have on the poll today?
Daily fan poll was put out there before all of this happened. So let's be
It's a
kind.
simpler time.
Be kind to whoever made the Daily fan poll this morning. It asks if the rankings, the college football playoff rankings, were to stay the same Sunday as they were last night, who would you rather see Ohio State play in the quarterfinals? Alabama or Oklahoma? 57% of y'all say Oklahoma. 43% say Bama.
I think the Mateer part of that is the interesting part. Oklahoma's offense is terrible right now. Bama's defense isn't good, and Bama can't run it. But I think the Mateer part of it is because if he can get back to how he was at the beginning of the season, then I think that would make them a little bit friskier. I think some of that's brand bias with Bama, just because we're used to them being at a level playing field, and they're just not this year. All right, time for it's a First Friday. You're going to need one. Hit it.
Bishop and Friends present First Friday, officially endorsed because everyone deserves 2 Fridays.
Sponsored by Hydrate Me Med Spa. Feel better, recover faster, live optimized with Hydrate Me.
We drink for the wrong reasons. My generation, we drink because it's good. Because it feels better than unbuttoning your collar. Because we deserve it. We drink because it's what men do.
All right, I'm going to make this easy for everybody here because most folks are going to need a cocktail. So let's make it easy. Let's head down to High Bank and scoop up the Midnight Manhattan. It's ready to go. It's their version of the Manhattan, which is a delight. It's their blend of classic whiskey war, the tawny port wine, and the bitters. You're going to get all those notes of raisin and plum and vanilla and clove. They are ready to go, and you don't need to be messing around mixing things. You got offensive coordinators leaving. You got crumble cookies showing up at Penn State. You got receivers leaving and staying. Chris Henry stayed. It's a chaotic day. Pour 9 fingers of it. Enjoy yourselves, kids. You probably all deserve it.
And here we thought last First Friday was the first Friday of them all.
Oh, my God. Yeah. All right. Time for 3 things. Hit it.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Scioto Downs. Your play, your perks, your Caesars Rewards spot.
All right, number 1 for me, I'll share a pretty funny Brian Hartline story. I was at the Memorial Tournament covering it, and Brian and his now wife came in and was, kind of small talking, catching up with him. He was currently with the Miami Dolphins, and I had just seen, this was the early years of Twitter, and I had just seen on Twitter a report that the Miami Dolphins were signing Terrell Owens. And I broke Brian the news that the Dolphins were signing Terrell Owens. Now, that affected him because he was the number 1 receiver and all of that. And he was like, wait, what? What is going on? Like, panic. Like 3 minutes later, I realized that it was a ruse. It was the first time I'd ever been duped on Twitter. So I had to track him down and say, dude, I had that wrong. Needless to say, he was not pleased, but we've shared a laugh over it since. So that was the first time I was ever duped on Twitter. Brian Hartline was the victim of it.
Gosh, to think now, going back 10 years and be like, here's what they do on Twitter these days.
Yeah.
You've got all of these accounts taking pictures of, or using pictures of former NHL players in college to try to break news, saying they're Deadspin is just wild. Yes, with all of this today, I did see the news that the Browns opened the 21-day practice window for Deshaun Watson.
The prince that was promised.
Yes, I fully expected this because Mary Kay Cabot had the reporting a couple weeks ago, and when she reports something, even if it's just discussions have been had, you're like, okay, it's coming. At least they gave Shedeur Sanders, and hopefully we'll give Shedeur Sanders the next couple of weeks. You'll probably see Deshaun start a game before the Browns this season.
Yeah.
That stinks, but I think it's just part of this unfortunate process.
Paul Keels is one of the all-time great radio guys. Paul Keels has a voice for radio and does a great job calling the games without making it about himself. Energetic without being over the top, the voice of God, and maybe the best announcer in the business. Those were all some of the comments that Awful Announcing got in their rankings of the best college football broadcasts in the country. And Awful Announcing told everybody what we've known for a long time. Keels and Lachey are the best in the business.
Yeah, he's Ohio Barry White. Yeah, I mean, it's that good. Number 2 for me, always been a big fan of Marcus Freeman. This is pretty remarkable from a Notre Dame site. Notre Dame has a consensus top 3 or 4 class in the country. Kyle Kelly with this. Now that all 27 of Notre Dame's 2026 class commits have signed, the Irish were the only Power 4 team to have 0 decommits. None. That's unbelievable. In this day and age. So that is a combination of culture, recruit, money, all aligned So when people are thinking, oh, Marcus might have interest in LSU, no. He's right where he needs to be. I think the only job he'd ever have an interest in other than what he's got is the one here. That's it.
So what's this example, 5,627 of Everybody's Got a Podcast? Ben Roethlisberger has one. It's the Footballin' with Ben Roethlisberger podcast. And in the most recent edition, quote, I like Coach Tomlin. I have a lot of respect for Coach Tomlin, but maybe it's best for him too. Maybe a fresh start for him is what's best. Maybe that's in the pros. Maybe go be Penn State's head coach. You know what he would do at Penn State? He would probably go win national championships because he's a great recruiter, end quote.
We just have like former athletes now that can just talk out of their rear end. I mean, that's just utter nonsense. Like if Mike Tomlin is fired by the Pittsburgh Steelers, he'll be hired tomorrow by an NFL team. Tomorrow.
Maybe by 3 of them.
Yeah, come on.
Second thing for me, this is my Friday on this show, so Jacob Reimer will be in the next couple of days, filling in for me as I head up to Canton tonight for the state football championships. Guys, I need you to do 2 things. Don't let Reimer turn this into a college basketball show and run it off the rails for us. And also, don't let him do such a good job that I get Wally Pip. Like, keep it on the straight and narrow, but don't make it too good, okay?
You're safe, Bake. You're safe. Finally, number 3 for me, the crumble cookie story is perfect. It's just perfect. The chaos of this sport, I cannot get enough of, and that story is perfect. Activate the crumble cookie guy. Coach stays at BYU, then send crumble cookies to Penn State. James Franklin having them handed out at his National Signing Day. How do you not beat it? It's just perfect.
Yeah, college football is the best circus in town, and the biggest clowns reside in Ann Arbor. We didn't have any time to get to it today, but the idea that they were turning off Ohio State's sideline communication is the biggest insecure move you could possibly pull. And those losers in Ann Arbor, and that behavior stems obviously from the Jim Harbaugh era, the sign stealing scandal, and makes what happened last Saturday so much sweeter.
Ryan Day was supposed to have a signing day press conference coming up next. I'm guessing that might get hijacked here by Brian Hartline questions and where they're going to go at OC and wide receiver coach. I'm sure there'll be some Chris Henry questions as well. Rothman and Ice will play that live for you. They will also have at 2:30 today, Zach Wierenski, 1:30, Adam Schefter.
Lots to get to on a very busy first Friday. Act accordingly out there, kids. God knows you deserve it. We're back tomorrow. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Common man, a radio veteran, has a large hemorrhoid. Timmy Hall, a good clean boy.